Check 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. Check, check, 1 2 3. This is your hero talking down the microphone. Your hero has arrived. Check 1 2 3. For Team White, it's number 7, Jim Rogers, and number 13, Zach Halverson. His buddies call him Halvey. I call him Zach with a K because it's Halvey time in the Fallness household. Jerry Mayhew, Kyle Rao, Ryan Hartman, Luke Johnson, Victor Rask. Is that enough? He's gone. I'll assume that's enough. If you need me to keep talking, tell me to. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to XL Energy Center, where we're here for you. Check, 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 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, it's too bad they don't have the crowd noise yet. Doesn't sound like that's ready yet.
Will it be Thursday?
Thursday, they're in Los Angeles.
But we'll get that, right? Are they going to give us
Yes,
some
we
sort of a
should
feed?
have it from there, and then when we have it, we will feed it down. That's what Adam's going to
Right
set
on.
you up with. Barabo. Derek Barabo. Dakota Murmis. Ian McCoshen. Check, check. to do it again tonight. We're making our way towards the drop of the puck of the regular season coming up on Thursday when the Wild travel to Los Angeles to take on the Kings. They get one last dress rehearsal before things start counting for real. Tom, we had some fun on Friday. I think there'll be even a little bit more of the theatrics that go along with an actual game tonight in St. Paul.
I'm going to take off my mask here, Kevin.
Is
that okay? Yeah, I think it will be fun, Kevin. I think both these teams and the players certainly are geared up and ready to go. Of course, the squads are pretty well set where you're going to be, but this is an important time, especially for the young kids who are trying to make their name in the National Hockey League.
We're underway in St. Paul. It'll be Team White against Team Green. The lines and the rosters have been shaken up a little bit compared to Friday. More of a balanced matchup is what Dean Evison said he was going for. Friday, they were doing more of the special teams work, which is why the Green team was more heavily weighted towards the talent advantage than was the White team. Now things have been evened out a little bit more evenly. Team Green is going to feature guys like the top line, Zach Parise and Kirill Kaprizov. And in the middle, it'll be Nick Bjugstad. On the White team, their stars are going to be Johansson, Bonino, and Fiala. But both of the first lines have already made a change, and we got our first shot on the night. For the Green team, it'll be Johansson taking a shot on Capo Kakkonen.
Yeah, coming down that right side also, Kevin. He's one of the guys, Johansson. They figure that some people thought he might be a center iceman, but I think he's better suited on the wing. He's a left-handed shot playing on that right side, gives him a better shooting position. But this is a really important game for these guys because you've got a very short training camp, obviously, just a few days away from that first opening up in Los Angeles. Of course, 2 games in L.A. with a day in between, but the start of the season is so important. We talk about that every year. Those games at the beginning are just as important as the games at the end.
Big shots taken by Jules Eriksson and a save by Talbot. Those are your goaltenders tonight. Talbot on the White side, flashing the leather there on Jules Eriksson. On the Green side, it'll be Capo Kakkonen. How about that for the nice big save right off the bat, Thomas?
Yeah, not bad. And of course, they call him Calm Talbot is what they call him. And he is certainly a calm presence on the ice. And certainly want to wish Alex Stalock all the best, too, recovering from that upper body injury. And, of course, you got Zuccarello out with the arm injury. So hopefully this will be a good start for these youngsters in L.A. We'll get into the different divisions also, Kevin, in a little bit here. I want to talk about that and the importance of getting a good start, especially for Minnesota to get going and getting some wins right from the beginning.
Get a good start, and for the broadcasters, get some good sleep because you're going to need it. Spending a lot of time out there on the West Coast, including Thursday, a late one in Los Angeles. Capo Kakkonen in his trapezoid stops the puck, gets it up to Marcus Foligno on the left wing, tries to get it over for Jules Eriksson, but that's taken away by Nico Sturm. Now the White team has it on their defensive core. Drop pass here for Belpedio. Belpedio looking for the headman pass, but it's picked away by Jules Eriksson. He's stapled to the boards by Belpedio right along the glass. And now in their own end, this will be the White squad led by Ian McCoshen.
Yeah, you have to like the progression also of Eriksson over the last couple of years. I thought last year, Kevin, he had a terrific year. He really stepped up physically, and I think that's an important part. He's an agitator, no question about it. He gets in there. He's not going to get in the fights, but he's going to go in there and create some havoc in the corners against the opposition.
Jules Eriksson on that second line for Team Green. Third line probably in air quotes. They don't like to talk about line numbers and all that stuff. Dean Evison doesn't like to get into that, but for our intents and purposes, playing on the third line in between Marcus Foligno and Jordan Greenway.
Yeah, that's a big line also. I mean, you've got the heavy hitters out there, and that's what you want. You want that line to be strong and be physical on the ice, and when they start on against the LA Kings coming up here very quickly, you hope that that will continue.
Hard work by Connor DeWar to get it finally off that near dot. Sends it into the near corner. Belpedio in pursuit defensively, back up top to the point. That'll be Dakota Mermis. Had the eventual game winner for Team White in the Friday scrimmage in a 2-1 victory for Team White. Ryan Hartman, the other goal for Team White. A nice little goal for Kirill Kaprizov, his first goal as a member of the Minnesota Wild, the only goal for Team Green. Did you get a chance to look at the highlight for Kaprizov, Tom?
Yeah, I did see that goal, Kevin. I mean, you talk about having a skill level. We've heard so much about him. It's been a long time coming, but we are going to get a power play coming up here and a hooking call that's going to go against the team in green.
We had penalty shots on Friday. These are going to be full-blown penalties called by the linesmen and the refs. So we'll get to see some power play work here as the teams, and Dean Evison wants to see the special teams.
Yeah, and this will be the first penalty of this Suarez hockey game. We played a total of 3 minutes and 2 seconds. It'll be a full game also.
And so 20 minutes stop time, you're right.
That's they want to go, stop time, and this is where you got one game to make it work for you. Hopefully that's going to be the case.
DeWard to the box. He'll get 2 minutes for something, and that'll put the white team with a man advantage.
Yeah, that'll be a hooking call, I'm sure. I assume we have a broadcaster here someplace to give PA announcer?
No PA announcer tonight.
Well,
no manufactured crowd noise either. They'll unveil all the bells and whistles for the home opener later this month when the Wild host the Los Angeles Kings. I'm sure they'll have everything rolling at the Staples Center as well Thursday when the Wild take on those Kings in their season debut. Tonight, it's bare bones. They got the music out there tonight. We didn't even have that on Friday. But definitely, you're missing, the team of 18,000, as they say. There's a lot of empty seats here.
Well, there certainly are, Kevin. They've all wearing green sweaters, though, I think, and that's what they've got on right now. But you're right, and it's a little bit different for the players as well. They like especially the home team. They want that crowd in there.
I got to tell you, Tom, I didn't notice it much during the return to play action in the qualifying rounds against the Vancouver Canucks. Maybe it's because the games were intense. It was playoff hockey. I definitely felt it on Friday. It felt like an empty arena. And, it's up to and everybody's dealing with it now, no doubt about it, but it's up to the players to come up with their own energy, and that's something they're going to have to deal with again all season long.
Well, you're absolutely right, and of course at training camp it's really important to have that energy. If you want to make this team, you want to show what you can do out here, and a lot of these kids will have a chance to go down to the farm team in Des Moines once again and be part of that Iowa Wild team down there, and then maybe get a chance to come up here if there's injuries or someone's not playing well, there's a sickness, who knows. There's a lot of the unknowns that are going to take place here in the first month.
Barkowski tries to keep it in the zone, but the Green team finally able to get it out. Still 30 seconds left to go in the penalty to DeWar. Green team trying to kill this thing off. White team gathers it in their own end. This will be Brad Hunt that leads the way out of his own trapezoid. Steps over the blue line. 19 seconds left to go on the power play. That'll be Kyle Rowell on the left wing. Dumps it back behind Kakinen, and it squirts all the way out to center ice. And that'll be Belpedio grabs it in retreat mode. 5 seconds left to go as DeWar stands up at the gate. He's ready to hit the ice here, and he is free. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Scoreless game in the first period, 5 minutes into this contest. Green team flutters a backhand on Talbot. He grabs it, wanted to get rid of it, but the ref blows the play dead, and that'll bring a faceoff to his left. 14:47 left to go in this first period. Welcome to this Minnesota Wild scrimmage presented by our friends at Treasure Island Resort and Casino.
And Kevin, you look at the players that we've lost from last year. Of course, Mikko Koivu has gone to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Eric Stahl to Buffalo. Dubnyk and Donato both went to the San Jose Sharks. Luke Cunningham over to Nashville. Galenchuk went to Ottawa. Bob Mason was not renewed in his contract after 17 years as a goaltending coach here with the Wild.
Quick little one-timer there for Kirill Kaprizov, set up by Ryan Suter. That's stopped by Talbot. Now it's Zach Parise on the far half wall. Centers a pass out to Nick Bjugstad. That just goes wide of the cage. Back out front again. Shoots, he scores! Nick Bjugstad on the board. 14:29 left to go in the first. Nice little tic-tac-toe play set up by Zach Parise, finished off by the big, tall, lanky centerman, Nick Bjugstad.
Well, he does a good job just holding his ground there also. He knew that Parise was behind the net with that puck, and you're hoping he can get to the front there. He was to the left of the goaltender, and as you mentioned, Kevin, he's got that long frame also. He's 6'6", 215 pounds, and the guy was Mr. Hockey with Blaine back in 2010. Scores the first goal of this hockey game.
That's a guy that's looking to resurrect his National Hockey League career, and boy, would it be great for him to do it on the first line here with Minnesota with Zach Parise and Kirill Kaprizov on his wings. That's how they've got it set up here early on in camp. And I keep saying early on in camp. We're almost done with camp. It's over on Thursday. They're going to head out to Los Angeles on Wednesday, so there's only a couple of days left here of camp. This is the way it's shaping up, and Nick Bjugstad showing that he can cause some problems there in the crease. He gets an opportunity to direct one past Cam Talbot. So the Green team skating with the 1-0 lead. 6 minutes into this hockey game. Fiala with it in the near half wall. Taken away by Foligno. Suter has it. Does a spin move in his own end. Leaves it for Dumba. Over for Foligno. Foligno in front of the white bench. Knocked off the puck by Bonino, but able to gather it in and send it out to Jules Eriksson-Ek. The white team with it. This will be Spurgeon up for Nico Sturm. Sturm with it. Carries the mail into the near corner. Taken away by Jules Eriksson-Ek. Here comes Ecker. Mr. September trying to be Mr. January. Knocked off the puck by Nico Sturm. Leaves it for Rask. Victor Rask tries to set up Hartman. This was a line that we noticed a lot on Friday, Tom. The Nico Sturm, Victor Rask, Ryan Hartman line played very well on Friday's exhibition game.
Yeah, I've been impressed with that, certainly with Hartman. But also, Rask was one of those guys that did not have a good year last year. He looked like he was really down in the dumps. He didn't have a lot of energy, but they're giving him a chance once again to make something happen here, and they've got him in that center ice position, so hopefully he can step up for this team.
Get an opportunity here and try to make the most of it early on in camp as they get ready. There's one that squirts out to Ryan Hartman. Had a goal on Friday, tried to make it 2 for 2. Stopped by Kakkonen. The other way, here comes Duhaime. That looks like it's going to be offside, so we'll get a face-off in front of the white bench. 12:47 left to go in the first. It's 1-0 in favor of the Green, thanks to Nick Bugstad.
Yeah, and you look at the guys who've come in also, they're newcomers to this hockey club, or could be this season. You got Nick Bonino, of course, out of Nashville. You got Bugstad, you mentioned, Marco Rossi, who's not in this game tonight. Marcus Johansson out of Buffalo. Kaprizov out of the KHL last year. And he's a guy they've been waiting for a long time. How about the youngster Kalen Addison also? They made that trade with Zucker and have picked him up, and that should be a fine addition to this club in years to come. And of course, you got the goaltenders Talbot and Hammond, both newcomers to the team as well.
Back underway, Green team, dump and chase, sends it up for Duhaime. Duhaime in the far corner, centering pass there, leaves it for, that'll be Jerry Mayhew. Mayhew, the AHL's leading goal scorer there for the Iowa Wild last year. I believe 88 goals in 220-some contests there with the Iowa Wild. Definitely can score on that level. Would love to get the opportunity to see if it can translate on the NHL stage if he gets a regular occurrence. Down in the Green end, 12:05 left to go in period number 1. Almost sprung free was Kirill Kaprizov, but stopped there by Belpedio, and he'll dump it, and they'll get a line change for the White. Kaprizov sprung there again by his defensive core. He'll take it. Send a backhand pass over to Kalen Addison. Addison back up top. Here comes Kaprizov trying to spring free, but the White team able to gather it in defensively. Jonas Brodin still happy with that big fat contract he got over the summer. Over to the captain, Jared Spurgeon, a new captain for the Minnesota Wild. Tom sends the pass over for Bonino, takes the shot, saved by Kakkonen. Kicks it into the far corner. Bonino back behind his cage for Johansson. Into the near dot. This is the Green team trying to get it out of the zone. They did it. Delayed offsides. They clear the zone, so Matt Dumba has some free ice to figure out what he's going to do with it next. But Jared Spurgeon, the next full-time captain of the Minnesota Wild, Tom.
Yeah, and that's a good choice. And no question, Billy Guerin did his due diligence on thinking of making sure he's going to pick the right guy. The guy is respected in the locker room. And you don't have to say a lot. It's how you conduct yourself on and off the ice and what you bring to the table. And there's no question that Jared Spurgeon does just that. The puck slithers over.
Hartman just about sprung free, but Ryan Suter was going to have none of that. Instead, he takes him into the end boards, and Kakkonen able to cover it up, so we'll get a whistle. No penalty on the play, and Hartman probably doesn't like that, but still 10:57 left to go in the first. 1-0 Green.
Yeah, Kakkonen was so good last year also in the American Hockey League. Of course, he was the goaltender of the year. He was #1, and deservedly so. Big kid also, 6'2", 214 pounds out of Helsinki.
Heck wins the draw here. The defensive partnership back there right now on the Green team is Soucy and Patterin. Patterin takes it, clears it the length of the ice. He'll do so via icing, so we'll get a face-off now again to the right of Kakkonen.
Yeah, just 2 officials on the ice. Ryan Galloway, a longtime linesman in the NHL, still works for the NHL as a linesman, and also Chris Lee, the referee here. They both make their home in the Twin Cities, so bring them in so the players are getting a taste of what it's going to be like have the regular officials on the ice for this scrimmage and also for the start of the season.
Little bonus paycheck for the Zebras. I like it. Everybody's going to make a buck, right, Tom?
We'll have to wait and see if they get paid or not. Depends who wins.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll see how that goes for them. Hopefully they get some kind of reward for doing some extra work here for us and for the Minnesota Wild. Patterin with it again. Steps over the red line this time. Dumps it into the far corner. That's where Marcus Foligno takes it, tries to center out front. Instead, it's grabbed by Nico Sturm. That one's going to go the length of the ice, and we're going to get another icing.
Yeah, good to see Greg Patterin back on the ice also, Kevin. He only played in 20 games last year. Of course, he had some problems, had surgeries, and feels a lot better now, but he was kind of non-existent once he got by those 20 games. We never saw him much anymore after that. And he went through a great deal of pain and a lot of rehab in order to get himself ready for this season.
DeWar with it, wins the faceoff, back to Addison. Shot taken by Mermis. Saved by Talbot. Murmas with it again at the red line. Hits traffic, and then it ends up on the stick of Addison. Addison up on the right wing. This will be Chafee. Chafee with it. Wearing the 63, once made famous by Charlie Coyle, if you remember. Now it's Mitchell Chafee's turn to wear the 6 and the 3 on his back. And he's got more than just that 6 and 3 there. He's also got Brad Hunt in his back pocket as he tries to create space. Finally able to squirt it free out to Cramarosa. Now Chafee with it again. Being hounded. Back up top for Addison. This will be Murmas with it. Out to center ice, it's Bugstad. 9:28 left to go in period number 1. Again, thanks for joining us. It's an exclusive Minnesota Wild scrimmage presented by our friends at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. I'm Kevin Fallness along with Tom Reed. Jim Rogers is at his dials where we're used to seeing him over the course of 2 decades of Minnesota Wild hockey.
Yeah,
it's going to be a weird 20th season, Tom.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin. And when the Wild open up in L.A., it'll be Bob Kurtz back at the mic also with myself. And so we'll do the game. Lots of games, too. We figure it's going to be almost a game every other night through the end of the season through 56 games. I think, 56 games in like 115 days. So it's going to be a lot of work.
Bugstad with it. Tried to set up a pass for Matt Dumba, who was crashing from the right wing. Instead, blocked by the white squad. They send it the length of the ice again, and that's going to be un-icing. 8:38 left to go in period number 1. Green with the 1-0 lead thanks to a goal by Nick Bugstad.
Yeah, and the one thing is when you look at the division that Minnesota's in, you're in with the team. You got Anaheim, you got L.A., you got San Jose. Those are 3 weak teams from last year. You've got also with Arizona in there, but you still have the big 3. And, of course, when you look at Colorado and St. Louis and the Vegas Golden Knights, those are tough teams. But you're going to see each of those teams 8 times, 4 times in each of the buildings, and that almost makes for playoff hockey.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, I'd rather it be normal. We're doing our 82-game season. We're playing in the Central Division, but seeing how everything – well, there's a nice little behind-the-back pass from Fiala. Head Brodin flying, but it looks like he did so offsides. Offsides, yeah.
Offside, yeah.
So we'll get a go again. I would definitely rather have things normal and do an 82-game season and live the bulk of our schedule in the Central Division, but everything is so upside down and backwards. This beats not playing, and this 56-game schedule with a baseball/college hockey feel to it. I'm excited about the intensity that could bring.
Yeah, and how tough it is for the players, Kevin. They went through the bubble being at Edmonton and all that stretch away from their families. Now they're in a mini bubble here as well. They're not allowed to go into different places. They have to go to the rink, and they have to go to the airport, and they have to go, to the grocery store maybe once in a while. They're allowed to, but for the most part, they're pretty well quarantined to their home.
Big drive by Matt Dumba. He tattooed it, kept it low on the ice. It was a skate save by Talbot. That kicked it into the protective netting. So we'll get a face-off. The one thing that we had about the bubble, I know it stunk for the players to have to be away from their families. That's not fun. But we were guaranteed a season. And to do that playoffs, and it worked with 0 problems, and I'm still dumbfounded how they did it. They don't have that benefit now, and we're seeing it across the league. 3 or 4 spots have shut down their practices because of COVID concerns.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Dallas being one of those places where they have 6 players and 2 staff members that got it, so their first 2 games are going to be canceled in Florida, and they may cancel the next series with them at Tampa Bay, so we'll wait and see. But there are some arenas that will allow fans in the building. Unfortunately, Minnesota's not one of them.
No, we get 150.
Yeah, well, is that what we get?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot.
Well, that's what I say. There's hardly any fans in the building.
Right.
But when you look at places like Florida, Tampa Bay, both being in Florida, they'll have fans, and Dallas will have some fans in there. But for the most part, none of the other cities will. Look at Canadian cities. There are really 7 teams up there in that northern division, and I can guarantee you won't have fans in those buildings.
They almost got exiled from the country.
Yeah.
That would have been something for sure. I know what happened to the Raptors on the NBA level. They were kicked out and sent to Florida. They weren't going to do that with the 7 Canadian teams. Luckily, they're going to be able to get their season in, and they'll play north of the border, but they'll play amongst themselves. And I think that'll be a fun division to keep track of, especially the Calgary and Edmonton thing.
Well, how about Montreal and Ottawa, too, or Montreal and Toronto, and Ottawa and Toronto? I mean, you've got some real rivalries going up there. Calgary and Edmonton's going to be fun. Vancouver and Calgary. I mean, it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it should be fun. Hopefully it's fun for the Wild as well as they try to scramble into a top 4 spot in the Western Division. That'll get them back to the playoffs for something like the 8th time in the last 9 seasons. Play back underway. We're down to 7:09 left to go in the first. The only goal to this point goes to Nick Bugstad, 5:31 into the contest. to put the green team on top 1-0. Cramarosa with it, looks for the home run pass. Over for Chafee, but it looks like that went all the way down for an icing, and we're down to another face-off to the right of Kakkonen.
Yeah, and for Minnesota, too, Kev, when you look at all the bars and the restaurants in the state here, they're going to get a chance to open and be a part of that. And, of course, I'm happy about that with my pub just down the street. But, you know, and we've got 46 televisions in there, so we'll be able to show all the different games that are going to be on. And, of course, we're going to do all the specials, twofers for all Wild games, home and away, from puck drop to puck stop.
I know it's been a tough grind for everyone, but I can't imagine what it's been like for you proprietors trying to keep things afloat across the state and across the world, for that matter.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
We're trying to keep everyone safe. Our employees, certainly our customers, and everybody else, our vendors, and whatever it takes. Puck goes into the netting there, so that'll get the stoppage of play. That'll be a face-off. I believe will be deep in the green zone right now, to the left of.
Should mention real quick, Tom, while we got the chance, the Minnesota Wild and XL Energy Center jointly announced that the national leader in clean energy transition will be the team's first ever helmet entitlement partner. The XL Energy logo will exclusively appear on the team's home and road helmets for the entire 2021 season. They were there on Friday, they're there tonight, and they'll be there the rest of the season. So a good chance for XL Energy to get some extra notoriety, and for the Wild to do a good way to salute them as well.
And St. Paul should be so happy. I mean, this team has really stepped forward. When you look at arenas around the league, Minnesota is still one of the top hockey venues that they have in the National Hockey League. There's no question about it. It's clean. It's the different things are fixed right away, but they take pride in what they have here, inside and out. It's a wonderful facility.
Down to 6:10 left to go in this opening frame. Kirill Kaprizov out there for the top line of Team Green. Kaprizov, Parisi, and Bugstead. Nice turnover there for Zach Parisi. Grabs it, sends it over to Ryan Suter. Saved by Talbot. Back up top, Matt Dumba wants to pull the trigger. Instead keeps it, circles back behind the cage, sends it out to Nick Bugstad along the right wing. That's going to be Zach Parisi. Up top for Suter, moving the puck quickly. Back to Dumba. Leaves it for Kaprizov in the near corner. Knocked to the boards by the White squad. It's Jerry Mayhew that's able to spring his buddy Kyle Rao.
Yeah, Mayhew had a very good year last year also. He's one of those guys who can put the puck in the net, as you mentioned, in Iowa, 49 games, 39 goals and 22 assists. And with Minnesota, he had 13 games last year, had a couple of goals in that stretch. But he's a guy that has found the back of the net many times over the last few years.
Heck of a year for the Iowa Wild. They had big plans for the postseason that was cut short in the middle of March. Shot by... That's going to be Belpedio, saved by Kakkonen. That sprung up there on the near circle, and a nice save by Kakkonen to gobble it up, and we'll get a face-off to his left. But Iowa Wild, bummer that they weren't able to finish that off.
Yeah, no rebound coming off him either. Also, he's like a big pillow there. Hit him, just kind of dropped right down. He's right on top of it. That'll bring the face-off to his left here. 5:12 to go here in the first period. 1-0 for the Green guys.
Jules Eriksson wins it for the Green guys. Over for Patterin to Susi. Finally to Jules Eriksson on the right wing. That's going to be Jordan Greenway. Tries to set it up for Foligno. That just fails to click. So back up top, this is going to be Carson Susi. Green team skating very well, especially these last couple of shifts down here in the white end, as they've been able to control play. Belpedio, though, trying to get it back outside the end. Kept in nicely by Susi. Waved at wildly by Greenway. Greenway and Dumba had a nice little running rivalry going in the last game. I'm sure it was friendly banter, but now they're both on the same team, so both pulling on the same rope.
But are they pulling in the same direction?
I hope so. Now that they're on the same team, hopefully they don't get confused. So far, so good, at least. This would be Johansson over for Brad Hunt at the right point. Dumps it in. Rask can't get to it because it's Marcus Foligno who grabs it and tries to put it up for Jules Eriksson. Stolen away by Sturm. Sturm gains access to the green end. Sets it free, takes the shot, saved by Kakkonen. Nice little low wrister on the ice. Kakkonen was able to read it and kick it into the corner. And here comes the Green team. That's going to be Gabriel Dumont. Stolen away by Hartman. Back behind Talbot. Sends it up the right wing for Sturm. He'll bank it off the boards for Hartman once again. Taken away by Dumont. Dumont at center ice. Keeps it. Sea of white jerseys in his path, so he'll dump it into the near corner. Played there in the trapezoid by Jonas Brodin. Stolen away by Team Green. Back up top for Addison. Over for Mermis. Into the near corner. Back up to the half wall. Murmas again. Sends it in towards Talbot. Doesn't make it through. Instead, it's his old reliable Jonas Brodin helping him out defensively. Sends it off to his new defensive partner, George Spurgeon. Spurgeon and Brodin on one team, Suter and Dumba on Team Green.
Yeah, you look at the Spurgeon and also Brodin combination also, Kevin. You got probably Minnesota's best defenseman offensively out there, and that being Spurgeon, and Minnesota's best defenseman also there can break up the plays. And, of course, that's Brodin, the guy who's got the great wheels.
Down to 2:44 left to go in period number 1. Full intermission coming your way once we reach the end of period number 1. None of this special team stuff. This is just a straight-on 20-minute hockey game. Stop time, as you've seen. We will have penalties as well. Shot from the top of the circle by Luke Johnson. And here comes Kirill Kaprizov. Wonderful breakaway goal. Now he's trying to set up Marcus Foligno. Foligno with it on the far circle. Sends one in on Talbot. That doesn't quite make it through. It's back behind the cage, and it's Kaprizov that emerges from the fray. Whips around, sends a pass in the low slot. Nobody's there to catch it. Instead, this will be Hartman. Turnover, bad turnover right in front of Talbot. He's able to gobble it up, and he'll cover it with 1:58 left to go in the first.
Of course, you got the new divisions also. You've got the Canadian division with all 7 teams in that division, and you've got the East with Carolina, Chicago, and Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, Nashville, Tampa Bay. That'd be a nice one, going to Florida and spending four games in each of those cities down in that area. Of course, the Central has Boston and Buffalo with New Jersey, New York Islanders, New York Rangers, New Jersey Devils, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Washington.
It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be interesting. And like I say, I hope that you and Bob over the last 10 months outside of the return to play got a chance to catch up on your sleep, because you're going to need it. There's a nice little pass out here. It was Kevin Fiala tries to bat away at it in the blue paint, but Kakkonen able to seal the deal, keep it out of the cage, and keep it a 1-0 hockey game.
Yeah, you mentioned Fiala. What a year he had, especially the latter part of it, Kevin. He really stepped up there and became certainly Minnesota's best offensive weapon that they had. But now they got Kaprizov also. When was the last time Minnesota had 2 top-end scorers? And then you got Parisi up there, who led the team once again in goals last year. And you're hoping that Bukestad can find the form that he once had. That puck just deflects into the green team bench.
Yeah, Kevin Fiala, the last regular season goal for this Minnesota Wild team. You remember that one? Overtime winner in Anaheim before everything came to a screeching halt.
Yeah, I do remember the overtime winner against Vancouver also. It happened 11 seconds into overtime, but Tanev getting that goal. The guy never scores goals. He's like me. And he scores from the right side. I think you just try and clear the puck.
How would Tanev do on a penalty shot against Ken Dryden? How do you think he would do?
Not very well. Well, it may be okay, because Ken's not playing anymore. And he's 83 years old. Well, maybe not quite that old, but
83. Ken Dryden. I can't wait to drop that line. Oh, maybe we'll get him on and you can tell him in person. Down to 1:09 left to go in the first.
You know, talking about Ken, though, and you look at goaltenders and how good they are, but also you have to give the credit to the guys in front of them, your defense pairings out there and what you have. And that's why Ken was so good, because he had the strength of having that blue line so solid with the big 3 when you look at the guys who were out there. And, you know, Guy Lapointe was out there, and Serge Savard and Larry Robinson. I mean, it was a big, tough team and hard to play against.
Incredible teams, and they did some incredible things. We were talking about Jacques Lemaire the other night and how he was a big part of that. And something like 8 Stanley Cup rings, just craziness. The amount of success the Montreal Canadiens were able to enjoy, and some of the biggest names in the history of the game.
Yeah, it was a wonderful building, the old Montreal Forum, but they have a bigger and better thing now, a lot more I think amenable to the fans also going in there.
Great press box too, right?
Yeah, great press.
It is good there?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Good.
You're right on top of the play out there.
Down to 10 seconds left to go in this first period. The time ticking off here. We're going to bring you some good stuff during the intermissions. During this first intermission, we're going to bring you Beyond Our Ice. That's a fun little piece the Wild digital staff put together. In the second intermission, you can check out Posted Up with Ryan Carter. That's a lot of fun as well. If you haven't seen those, so it would be a good opportunity to stick around for that. So the difference in this hockey game, there's only 1 goal scored. It goes to the green team. Nick Bukestad from Zach Parisi, 5:31 into the contest. That's the difference in period number 1. Before we go to break, Tom, your impressions of this first 20 minutes of play.
It was good. You're going to have a lot of goals scored, I think, Kevin, at the beginning of the season because the teams have a very short window for their training camp. So the little bit of rust is going to be in there. Once they get into it and they get a bunch of games in a short period of time, you're going to see that rust kind of dwindle away, and you're going to see more goals being scored, or less goals, I should say, once they get into that point. But it should be exciting, I think, for everyone, and everyone realize the importance with a 56-game schedule.
Well, we got a full-blown intermission. They're trying to keep tonight as much as like the real thing as possible. So we'll do an 18-minute intermission. That time is already ticking. So when we next talk to you, we'll be getting you ready for period number 2. Want to thank everyone for checking us out. It's a Minnesota Wild scrimmage presented by our friends at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Real quick, we'll tell you, you should head to the island for their $100,000 blizzard of cash and free slot play giveaway. That's January 29th. You could win up to $2,500 and all unclaimed prizes. Play with your Island Passport Club card now through January 29th. To earn entries, visit ticasino.com for more information. Enjoy the intermission. We'll be back with period number 2 in a bit.
Giving away points, so it's the team that can get to their game plan the quickest and get their systems down. That's going to give you a big advantage and hopefully start off with a lot of wins.
We want to do something real quick. We're going to name your new captain today. This guy, to me, just epitomizes what hard work, determination, perseverance, team-first mentality is all about. He's a guy that, has fought his way up through the league and really made an impact here with the Minnesota Wild. I think he's a guy that each and every one of you guys gravitate to, you respect. He's a guy that we can all count on each and every night to perform at his highest level. So it is my honor to give one of the biggest honors you can get in the game of hockey to Jared Spurgeon, the new captain. There you go, buddy. Congratulations, man. It's awesome.
Him and Dean came over last night to talk to me, and they brought the kids in and asked me if I would like it. And my daughter was hoping I wasn't getting fired, so that was the first question she asked. But it was a cool thing to have my family involved. It was a special night for us. Well, it's a huge honor with a lot of great leaders in here, and we're all gonna have to lean on each other. And like Bill said, and it's a short season, and we're gonna have to be prepared. And I'm looking forward to it, and we have to have a lot of energy, and it's gonna be a fun year, guys.
Yeah, Kathy. He's got a quiet confidence about him. He's not in your face. He just goes about his business, and he shows up and plays the same way every night.
You gotta walk like a talk, and that's what he does.
Leave it. No. Quiet.
He thinks the game really, really well. I think that's one thing. You know, he's not the biggest guy, but I think he thinks faster than other guys out there.
I got middle. Middle.
He's a fun guy to be around. You can talk to him about anything. You trust him with things that you're going through. You know you can go to him and talk to him about it.
Pick up a guy, shoot, pick up a guy, then you're done. So 1-on-0, 2-on-0, 3-on-0.
We shoot?
They shoot, and then your line goes in, and then it comes back, your line goes 3-on-1.
He's a good human. You know what you're going to get every day with him. You're going to get a good guy coming into the room happy and ready to play.
Oh! 2 for 3.
He cares about how the team acts, reacts, and conducts itself.
It's a huge honor for me, and I'm not going to take it lightly, but we have a lot of work to do to get to the goal that we all want.
Good job today. Good job.
The C on Spurgeon's chest isn't the only change on the ice this season. 11 players are making their training camp debut in a Wild uniform.
This might be one of the most turnover I've been a part of. It's different for sure. I mean, we were sitting in the locker room yesterday, and Bonino was asking me who used to sit in his seat, and I'm like, well, you know, Mikko was there, Eric was here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this whole row is all new guys. And
my intention here is not to come in and give rousing speeches and tell guys how to win. You know, guys in the NHL have won at all levels. They know what it takes. For me, it's just going to be, you know, leading, maybe vocally, but a lot of the time leading by example.
Hey, Krill, on the first one, you got to stop, right? You just wait there so that it can kick out to you, and then you can go. Okay. You understand? Good.
Krill's been Krill the Thrill, we're calling him. He's been great. So one thing I noticed about him is he works hard. Honestly, he's a lot of skill, obviously, but he brings his work boots so far what I've seen.
Board?
Yes.
I go. Now good or no?
It's okay, as long as you go like this. So now they pass you, now you can go to the D.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he's going to be a huge player for us this year.
Nick, Gold Star, stick up puck. Good job.
Getting traded to the Wild is awesome, and it's a team I grew up rooting for, but it's important for me to realize I'm coming to help this team like I would at any other team if I got traded to. Every year you're going into it with that Stanley Cup in your head, and you know, how awesome would it be to be able to do that in Minnesota.
The guys that we brought in, they're good people, so it's exciting. You know, we're really looking forward to having that fresh start.
There has never been a better time for exactly that, a fresh start. Whether it's a new face or a new leader, 2021 promises to be unlike any other. 56 games in 8 cities over the course of 5 months. This year's journey begins now, and for one team, ends with the greatest prize of all.
When you get on the ice and the puck's dropped, you play the game. And we're going to prepare the best that we possibly can. Our routines might be disrupted in some ways, but who cares? I mean, it's like, once the puck's dropped, you play the game. The game's the same way. And if we do that, we're going to give ourselves the best opportunity to have success.
Ready?
Minnesota, are you ready to go wild?
Ready?
90 seconds. One minute until period number 2. Talbot to our right. I assume Kakinen to our left. Live in 30. And welcome back to XL Energy Center. Period number 2, ready to get underway for this Minnesota Wild scrimmage presented by our friends at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. From the Al Shaver Press Box, I'm Kevin Fallness along with Tom Reed. And as we get ready for period number 2, the Green Squad holding on to the 1-0 advantage thanks to Nick Bugstad's goal, 5:31 into the contest. Playback underway, and here we go for period number 2, Thomas.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Kevin. And of course, game conditions, as we talked about before, the fact that they're going to call all the icings, they're going to call everything, and they had a little bit of break in between the first and second period. One of the guys we talked about was Jared Spurgeon, Kevin, once again being the new captain of this hockey club, and he's been terrific. He's #1 defenseman all time for Minnesota, also 82 goals in his career, now in his 11th year here with the Wild. He's got 14 game-winning goals, 28 power play goals. One of those guys that really adds a lot of smarts up front for this hockey club on the offensive side of things, but also very strong defensively as well.
Get used to seeing that C on his jersey. No one other than Mikko Koivu has worn it for the Minnesota Wild since 2009. About 3 dozen guys wore it prior to that. That's not important right now. It's Jared Spurgeon C as Kevin Fiala is just thrown to the ice by Matt Dumba on a clean shoulder-to-shoulder hit. But Jared Spurgeon, the second captain in the history of the Minnesota Wild. He's in retreat mode now as Nick Bugstad is staring down the flight plan. He's in his own, in the white end, circles it around the zone, tries to hit Kirill Kaprizov. Behind the legs pass for Parise over to Kaprizov, charges the net, knocked off the puck, and it looks like we're going to get a whistle. Kaprizov charging towards Cam Talbot, but Talbot able to keep him out.
Yeah, you look at Kaprizov also, Kevin, and you look at his size. He's 5'11", 194 pounds, but boy, he is terrific. I played in all 5 KHL All-Star games from 1915 to 1920, so he's certainly is a threat offensively for this team now. And you look at his production last year in 57 games, 33 goals he had. And we're going to have a penalty. This may be a roughing or interference call that's going to be called.
Just for the record, you said 1915 to 1920. I don't think he played in that
Is that what
time
I said?
frame. Yeah, but you know, well, I think we all know what you meant.
2015.
Yeah, right. Penalty goes to Makoshin. He goes to the box. And the green team will get the
interference call on Makoshin also. He's one of the guys trying to make a name for himself, and we'll see where he's able to step in. A defenseman there wearing the number 78. He was the Shattuck St. Mary's also for 1 year.
Yeah, 3 years at
Back
BC.
in 2009 and 10. Another guy who went to Boston College. Of course, Bill Guerin, the general manager. And Bill's made a few changes also in that front office staff. You look at it, you got Dean Evison, who did 12 games last year for Minnesota with 8-4-0. But he brought in a couple of newcomers, and the likes of Brett McLean, who was down in Iowa, along with Freddie Chabot. Or Shabbat?
Shabbat.
Yeah, I saw him, Chabot. Frenchman out of province of Quebec.
Yeah, many changes on this team. And you've dotted a number of them, but I think they were talking about 11 new faces in this Wild training camp vying for a spot on the team as we make our way towards Thursday's opener. That's a lot of chemistry to try to develop over a shortened time with no preseason. Dino's got his work cut out for him.
And you've got the right word, too. Chemistry is so important in a hockey club where you got two guys who can work well together. You got to try and find that, especially in the forward end, but then trying to find that third guy sometimes can be a little more difficult.
This is just the second power play of the game. First power play thus far for Team Green. Team White 0 for 1 with the man advantage. Team Green skating on the power play as we speak. Kaprizov out there along with Matt Dumba. Bukestad as well, offsides at the top of the zone, so we'll do it again. But it'll be interesting to see when they get the chance to skate with a man advantage and for real, what it's going to look like. It looks like they want to do a lot of potentially Bukestad, potentially Parisi, but definitely a lot of Kaprizov and Fiala.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many unanswered questions right now who's going to be on this hockey club. But you look, talk about power plays, Kevin. Last year, Minnesota wasn't too bad in the power play. They were number 11 overall, at just a shade over 21%. But the problem they had was on the PK, where they're number 25 out of 31 teams, playing at 77.2%. So best way to win that is to stay out of the penalty box.
1:11 left to go in the man advantage. This will be Bukestad trying to keep it in. But Belpedio hits Bukestad in the shin pads as he tries to clear the zone. Goes out to Parisi. He hits the outside of the cage in the far corner now. Sends it back over to Kaprizov. He's at the near half wall. Back up top for Dumba. Dumba for Kaprizov. Kaprizov with it. Sends it up top for Suter. Suter tries to set the one-timer up for Dumba. He sends it into the crease. That just fails to click. Near corner, that's Kaprizov. In the trapezoid, it's Bukestad and Parisi. Finally, the white team able to descend at the length of the ice. They'll get a badly needed change at the bench. Still 30 seconds left to go in the penalty to Makoshin. Addison over for Jules Erikssonek. Up for Mermis. Back to center ice, it goes for Foligno. Foligno will send it back for Addison. The main cog in the trade that sent Jason Zucker to Pittsburgh. Addison and some draft picks. Well, Addison and some draft picks come this way. Foligno back up to Addison. Addison for Mermis. Back to Addison. That fails to go find the blade of Addison. That'll bring us back to 5-on-5 hockey.
Yeah, Addison's one of those guys also. He thinks he's going to have a pretty good career down the road. And you look at his defensive position wearing that number 59 out there.
Big, a nice mobile defenseman. They like what he's got. He was one of the prize prospects in the Pittsburgh Penguins organization. So that's a guy that Bill Guerin knew well, and he wanted to have him over here.
Yeah, the thing, he played just junior hockey last year for Lethbridge in the Western Hockey League. But as you mentioned, Kevin, very good offensively. 10 goals, 42 assists he had on the year.
Boy, Kyle Rao got the business end of Greg Pateran's elbow as he's thrown to the ice. The play was already whistled offside, so we'll get a face-off on the dot just outside the blue line with 16:23 left to go in period number 1. Green still holding on to the 1-0 advantage. We're still 5-on-5 hockey.
Yeah, what are the shots right now, Kevin? Can you tell me?
I can't tell you. Oh. Your guess is as good as mine. I know Talbot's made some saves, and Kakkonen's made some saves as well.
I know there's been one shot that I can attest to.
Yeah, I can't tell you the exact
we don't
number,
have a shot. We don't have a shot clock.
We don't. Someone does.
Yeah.
I bet Jonas
Barry
downstairs
Frisch is up there right now. There's only been one shot.
With his abacus. Back underway. This will be Brad Hunt. He'll send it right back behind Kakkonen. Makoshin back out there. He's freed from his penalty. Brad Hunt has it on his stick, sends one towards the net, but it hits a stick and goes in to the netting, and that'll bring a face-off with 15:53 left to go in this middle period.
Yeah, how about Henry Lundqvist, also the Washington goaltender, going from the Rangers all those years and goes to Washington. He just had open heart surgery to replace him for an aortic valve.
Yeah.
So he's on the sideline, obviously. Corey Crawford goes to New Jersey. Retired yesterday.
Yeah, bummer.
Boy, that's really tough on a team, too. You bring a guy in like that of that stature, thinking this is going to be great, and all of a sudden he decides he's going to quit.
But week before the season begins, yeah,
13 years he had in the National Hockey League. Kevin, his first NHL game was against Minnesota.
Yeah, Wild fans know him well.
Yeah.
He's been a pain in their backside for many, many years. Him, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, Duncan Keith. Go right down the list, all those guys that have given a lot of the teams and coaching staffs of this Minnesota Wild franchise nightmares throughout the years. Dumba with it now, over for, that's going to be Bugstad, taken away by Hunt.
Yeah, that was an odd man rush for Minnesota. They didn't do much with it. I should say for the green team.
Exactly. Minnesota's happy and angry right now because they both are leading and trailing in a 1-0 hockey game. And this inter-squad scrimmage is presented by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Makoshin, a nice little twirl around Nick Bugstad. As it sends it on the boards over for Fiala. Kaprizov takes it away, but it's whistled off sides, and exactly 5 minutes into the second, still 1-0 in favor of Green.
Yeah, Ryan Galloway, the linesman, making that call. Of course, he's been around the NHL for many, many years. Will continue to do so. See, Doc Emmerich retired also. That's a huge loss for the certainly for hockey fans.
Yeah, one of the best voices in all the history of the game, certainly in my lifetime. He will definitely be missed.
He is so good. He is so. He has such a calming effect when he calls the game.
I mean, when you talk about the best in all of sports, not just hockey, but he's right up there. Doc Emmerich, Vin Scully. I mean, go right down the list of the famous names in the history of any sport. Doc Emmerich has to be the top of the heap.
I would agree.
Barkowski over for Belpedio. Belpedio in his own end. 14:32 left to go in the second. Thanks for joining us wherever you might be listening. Love to hear from you. If you got a question you want to send the way of Tom Reed. During the season, we do this thing called the Wild Hotline. We'll do that tonight. Hashtag Wild Hotline on Twitter, or you can put your question on YouTube as well. White team trying to stick it underneath the pads of Capo Kakinen, but he smothers it in his blue paint, so we'll get a face-off to his left. But hashtag Wild Hotline, love to do that. You can also post those questions on YouTube. I'll do my best. They scroll pretty quickly, so if we can get them out there and get a question out to Tom, be happy to do that. Have a lot of fun.
And watching Kakinen also, Kevin, he was, remember when he played in Winnipeg, was it last year, and let in three goals in the first 3 shots, then he settled down and had a terrific year down in Iowa with that hockey club. I mean, there's no question. He had 25 wins out of the 34 games he played in. So.
Remember his game in New Jersey? That's when I realized that, I mean, he can play at this level. Certainly what he's done in the AHL speaks for itself. American Hockey League goaltender of the year for what he did for the Iowa Wild. But I remember that game crystal clear in New Jersey when he got his first start and his first win, and put forth a 3-1-1 record last year with Minnesota.
Yeah, and I remember he won gold also in the World Junior Championships, which was just completed up in Edmonton, and of course Bowlby of Minnesota.
That was a fun tournament. Did you? I know you watched it, right?
Yeah, I did. I watched it. I mean, it was really a lot of fun, that last game. And you know, talk about Canada. Going into the last game, Kevin, they had outscored their opposition 41-4. Well, we're going to have a penalty being called here also. And
Nico Sturm draws it. Yeah. And it looks like Mermis is going to the box. Dakota Mermis from hero to GOAT had the game winner, the eventual game winner in Friday's scrimmage for Team White. Now takes a penalty for Team Green. Both teams 0 for 1 on the power play thus far. Now the white team will go back on the man advantage, trying to pull this thing even at a goal apiece. Rask out there for Team White, Jules Eriksson for the green team, but it's Rask that gets it back to the defense. That'll be Hunt over for Burkowski. Hunt winds and fires, but that hits the stick of Foligno, goes into net, and we'll get another face-off.
That's Mermis in the box right now on the tripping call with 1:54 to go here in period number 2. Just one goal scored, that by the green team. Bugstad getting the only goal of the game, and Parisi making a nice assist on that play way back in the first period.
Rask 2 for 2 on this power play on the face-off dot. Gets it back to Barkowski. Barkowski gives it back to Rask. Behind the net for Sturm. Sends it up top for Hunt for Barkowski. Back to Rask again. Around the world they go. In the near circle, that's Rask. Back to Barkowski. Quick pass over for Hunt. Hunt with it. Dances with it. Top of the circle. Down low for Sturm. Back up top for Barkowski. Barkowski sends a wrister in on Kakinen. He gets his frame right in front of it, and we'll get a face-off to his left. Minute 25 left to go in the penalty to Mermis. 13:26 left to go in period number 2.
Yeah, the white team doing a good job of keeping that puck on the outside there. Not trying to finally get that shot through by Barkowski right on the goaltender, and Kakinen able to grab onto it. That'll bring the face-off to his left. Still a minute and 25 seconds going in the power play for the white team.
Bonino with a face-off win, and this will get back to Brodin. Over for the captain, Jared Spurgeon for Brodin. Brodin on the wing over for Bonino. Bonino back up top to Spurgeon, takes the shot, saved by Kakkonen. Rebound goes all the way back out to Spurgeon on the left point. He sends it deep for Bonino. Over for Johansson. Haven't said Bonino or Johansson much before this power play. Both very active, though, as this winds down. Still 53 seconds left to go in the White power play. Here comes Fiala. Sets a nice little pass there for the captain. Takes the shot. He scores. Bar down for Spurgeon on the fly. Takes the pass in transition and is able to stick it right underneath the crossbar, and the power play goal draws us even at a goal apiece.
And I was watching Spurgeon also, Kevin, when the puck came back into his zone, I should say. He broke down on that right side. He just took off, and you can see the perfect pass right onto his stick. He just comes in, caught it just inside, looked like on the stick side of the goaltender. With that, it's a 1-1 game.
Sticks it right underneath that crossbar, and that pulls us even at a goal apiece. A power play goal for Jared Spurgeon pulls us even at 1 each. Back in the first period, it was Nick Bugstad. Started the scoring, now 7:16 of period number 2. It's Jared Spurgeon on the power play, and we're even at a goal apiece. Back underway to the right of Kakkonen. He watches play develop. Green team trying to get it out to center ice. They finally do, but it's recruited by Barkowski. Sends it to his defensive partner, Brad Hunt. Hunt at his own blue line, sends it across the ice to Mason Shaw. Shaw over for Rao, loses an edge, and then is thrown to the ice by the green squad. Back up top for Barkowski. Barkowski flips one in on net, saved by Kakkonen. Exactly 8 minutes into the second period, 1-1 from St. Paul. It's an exclusive Minnesota Wild scrimmage presented by our friends at Treasure Island Resort and Casino.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these teams perform this year also, Kevin. Of course, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Stanley Cup champions, and deservedly so. Going back to the World Junior tournament, though, Kevin, they did a terrific job up there once again. The U.S. team has to be very proud of what they were able to accomplish. Winning that, the underdogs, and Canada. I think that's the first time a gold medal competition in the World Junior tournament that there was a shutout.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And who would have thought? I mean, the Canadians steamrolled through that tournament, and the Americans were feeling better after they stubbed their toe in the opener against Russia. They progressively got better, but I don't think anyone would have predicted a 2-0 shutout.
Well, when you look at Canada also, they had actually 21 members of that team were first-round draft choices, and they had 2 guys that didn't play because Doc was hurt, broke his wrist in the preseason of the tournament. And Lafreniere also elected not to go. He's the number 1 draft choice this past year by the New York Rangers.
They were stacked, though.
You know what? I have a hard time with that because I think it's important for these kids to develop it with their own peers and give them that confidence and the opportunity, because you'll never be able to do it again.
It's such an unbelievably great tournament. You talk to anybody that's played in it, and some of the league's best of all time have played in that tournament in recent years. And Crosby played in it, Taves, Ovechkin. I mean, the big names, and McDavid. It's an opportunity missed, but you kind of understand it too, considering all the health risks that were involved. Maybe it wasn't the easiest thing, and there were no fans there, which is a bummer as well.
And how many of those players will go on to play in the National Hockey League? A lot of them. We see that now.
Yeah. 10:22 left to go into the second. That's the voice of Tom Reed. I'm Kevin Fallness. Another little dress rehearsal for the Wild in a Minnesota Wild scrimmage presented by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. This game doesn't count. Starting Thursday, the Wild will embark on a 56-game schedule. And they'll play some late-night hockey, but it'll be fun. Johansson went trying to have some fun from the top of the circles, but his wrister is gloved down by Kakkonen. We'll get a face-off exactly midway through period number 2.
Yeah, those games are going to come fast and furious also. Minnesota, when you look at their schedule, Kevin, they start on January the 14th in L.A. They finish up at home with 4 consecutive games at home in May. The 3rd and the 5th against Las Vegas Golden Knights, and of course the 7th and 8th will finish up against the Anaheim Ducks.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be frantic. Hopefully we can get you guys set up in a nice little road booth directly up above me to my broadcast left, and we'll get the voice of Bob Kurtz where it belongs, behind a microphone calling some hockey.
Do you think he's listening to this game?
Zero chance. I'll be honest. No chance. And I don't think that'll surprise anyone.
I think he might have caught part of it.
I wonder if he's awake. You think he's watching and listening?
He might be watching.
His Packers aren't on tonight, right? So maybe we got his attention. He's a grandpa, though. He's got to be burping and, well, he's burping. He's probably
the
changing
kids
diapers.
do. He doesn't. Well, maybe he does once in a while. I hear him.
Yeah, that's our buddy Bob Kurtz behind the mic for Wild Hockey for 20 years now. Tom Reed's been here as well, and we'll get back to where we belong here starting on Thursday night. Chance there for the War in the between the circles. Another one coming for the War as well. That's saved by Talbot. Heard it hit that paddle loud and clear. Get that manufactured crowd noise starting on Thursday night as well. None of that going tonight. What you're hearing is the effects down at ice level and some of the vocal strains from some of these guys as well. Not the intensity that you'd expect from an actual game, but they're trying to mimic this as best possible. Like we talked about, they wanted to see an actual game day situation, and you know, Dean, they even went so far as to have a morning skate today, had the video session with these guys and player meetings, and kind of like he would do on any game day during the regular season.
Well, you get into a routine on a game day. There's no question about it, and you want to, mimic that as much as you possibly can when you have your training camp, with the shortened training camp. I mean, these guys, when they reported to camp, what was it, the 3rd of January? So they're going to have their first game on the 14th. So that's not a lot of time. But most of these guys have worked out pretty well during the break that they had after last season.
Centering pass there for Bugstad, intended for Parisi, knocked away by the white defense. Top line out there for Team Green. Kaprizov with it on his stick now, looks for a stuff move, tried to get it out to Parisi. That just went underneath his stick, so it ends up going all the way down to Kakkonen. Carson Soucy now, cross ice pass over to Patterin. Tries to send it for Jules Eriksson. That failed to click, so it goes all the way back down for Cam Talbot. He'll bank it off the window. Grabbed here by Team Green. Jordan Greenway with the puck on his stick. Tries to get it out for Patterin. Instead, it bounces out to neutral ice, and that's where it's gathered in by Carson Soucy.
Yeah, and Greenway, one of those players also, Kevin. They're looking for more out of him. He's got to really step up and show that he wants to be here. He says he does, and I'm sure he does, but you got to work at it. You have to produce, and you have to do the things that the coach wants you to do.
Greenway's got it now, set up the one-timer for Patterin, but that hits a stick and goes harmlessly to the sideboards. As Fiala sends a cross-ice pass for Bonino. Bonino at the left circle, sends it behind the cage. In the far corner, that's Fiala. He's knocked off the puck by Soucy. Soucy with the big body in the far corner. Back in the trapezoid for the Green defense. Sends it the length of the ice, trying to hit Jules Eriksson to avoid the icing. Fails to do so, and we'll get a face-off now in Kakkonen's end. 6:47 left to go in period number 2. Bugstad and Spurgeon, the goal scorers in a 1-1 hockey game.
Again, Dean Evans behind the bench also. I said before, Kevin, the fact he has just 12 games as the head coach in the NHL, but he's been around for a long time. He knows exactly what he wants, and he's very intense. You watch him behind the bench, and he's pretty well taken in by what the players are doing on the ice, and expects nothing but the best from them.
We talked about this on Friday, Tom, but his road to where we are at in his first stint as the head coach of the Minnesota Wild comes in mid-season after Bruce Boudreau's relieved of his duties. His season is cut short due to COVID. Returns to play with the qualifying round against the Vancouver Canucks, and now here we are. He finally gets game number 1, and it'll be a shortened 56-game season in the Western Division, in a newly formed division. It's crazy.
And can you imagine what Bill Guerin's gone through and all this stuff too? Because he did get hired at the end of August, and when he took over and had quite a workload on his plate. There's no question about it. He survived. He's made a number of changes here. When you look at the changes, Minnesota's been stuck in the middle for so long, and either you're going up or you're going down, but you don't want to be in that middle. But Minnesota's not been able to get the draft choices they're looking for because of where they were in positioning. So I think now that the Bill has taken the helm here of this hockey club, that you'll see some good things happen with this team. He wants his team to get better, and he's doing everything he can to make sure it's going to happen.
Face-off infraction. You talk about those mid-tier draft picks. That started to change here lately when you talk about Matt Boldy. Now this year they add Marco Rossi. There was some talk about him being able to make the squad coming out of camp, and it looks like That's probably not going to happen now. Who knows what happens once he's healthy, but earlier today the Wild announced Rossi out indefinitely with an upper body injury. So that's a blow for a kid that had aspirations for making this team coming out of, I guess we're in January.
Yeah, and hopefully he'll be okay. Of course, you look at his ability last year playing in the Ottawa 67s in the Interior Hockey League, and 120 points he had, 39 of those being goals. I mean, this guy has got a lot of firepower. Of course, he played for Austria in the World Junior Championships, but he didn't have. Not one of those players was ever drafted by the NHL team other than him.
Yeah, that team was a little overwhelmed at the World Juniors, but you can definitely see the star power of Marco Rossi. Bill Guerin hopes that one day that'll translate to the NHL stage, but like we said, the Wild announced today he has been ruled out indefinitely with an upper body injury. Nick Bjugstad waves that puck out of mid-air with a high stick, so we'll get a face-off here in the green end. 5:15 left to go in the second. 1-1 is the hockey game. Thanks for checking us out. That's Tom Reed. I'm Kevin Falmus. Jim Rogers here as well. A big staff at XL Energy Center and the Al Shaver Press Box helping us bring you this Minnesota Wild scrimmage on the Minnesota Wild YouTube. You're here? Why not hit that subscribe button? Then you know everything that's going on with the Wild YouTube. Not only scrimmages, but everything else they bring in, all the great digital content our digital team provides throughout the course of Minnesota Wild season, the off season, during COVID, strikes, whatever it might be. They're always busy up there providing really good entertainment. So best way to find it is by hitting the subscribe button on the Minnesota Wild YouTube channel.
Yeah, they really do a good job of keeping the fans updated, what's happening with the players and the team and everything else around the league.
Big drive by Brad Hunt. Hartman jumps out of the way, but Kakinen is able to reel it in. He'll put that big catcher's mitt over the puck, and he'll cover it, and we'll get a face-off to his left.
Yeah, once again, they got Hartman on that right point position. He's a left-handed shot, got a better shooting angle there, but Brad last year picked up 8 goals for this hockey club. He's not a big guy either. When you look at him, he's just 5'9", about 175 to 180 pounds, but sees the ice well, moves the puck well, has a good shot from that blue line.
Eck able to get it free out to Greenway on the left wing. He's just able to get it outside the zone. That's where it's gobbled in by Belpedio. Can you name another 47 in the history of Minnesota Wild hockey? I don't know why this just sprang to my mind. 3 names. Marc-Andre Bergeron. Remember that? Back in the day, a French-Canadian played with this Minnesota Wild team with, what was that? Eric Boulanger back in those days. I don't know why that just came to mind.
Well, thanks a lot, Kevin.
Just dumping out pearls of wisdom here in the Al Shaver Press Box. However many of you remember Marc-Andre Bergeron.
Do you know who wore number 68?
68. I wanted to say Pouliot, but he was 67. No, I can't think of it.
Neither can I.
No. No 97, only one in Wild history. We had a 96 in Pierre-Marc Bouchard.
I don't see a 99 out there either.
No 99s, and there will never be a number 1. But other than that, everything's up for grabs. 4:01 left to go in the second. Bjugstad and Spurgeon are the goal scorers. Spurgeon the goal scorer here in period number 2 on the power play. 7:16 of the second to pull White even with Green, and that's where we sit here with 4 minutes left to go in the middle period. In the far corner, Fiala watching Susi dump it back behind his cage. Grabbed here by Johansson. Johansson for Fiala. Fiala tries to get it to Brodin. Nice little stick work by Brodin to keep it inside the zone, and that's where Fiala has it at the circle. Centering pass, saved by Kakinen. That one just failed to get through over to
Spurgeon breaking in there. Once again, I mean, Spurgeon, he knows when to jump in. He knows when to go. He jumped in there, and Fiala made a nice little play to begin with, keeping the puck on the left side there. And Spurgeon always looking to get that puck, very offensive-minded. And the thing with him also, Kevin, is you look at the speed he's had. For a guy who's not very big, boy, he can really motor. And, of course, with the NHL the way it is, they're actually getting smaller. They're not as big as they used to be because they're looking for those guys who have the speed and the mobility, especially back in that blue line.
Brodin, big shot, score! Kakinen had it in his glove. It bounces over the leather, ends up back behind him, and the White team takes the 2-1 lead.
Yeah, Brodin is so good also. He's one of those guys that you expect to step up. And last year I thought he had a terrific year just moving the puck out of his own zone, and that's where his strength is. He's not going to give you a lot offensively, but he will give you something from that blue line defensively to get the puck out first. And that, most importantly, making that first pass out, usually tape-to-tape pass. This goal comes at 16:39 to give the white team a 2-1 lead.
How about that? The goal scorers for Team White breaking back from the, coming back from the 1-0 deficit. They get a pair of goals from the blue line. A power play goal for Jared Spurgeon, and then the go-ahead goal for Jonas Brodin. Like Tom said, 16:39 of the second. White now skating with a 2-1 lead.
And how many goals did the defense get over the last 2 years for this hockey club? I mean, they have been so good from that blue line, one of the tops in the NHL.
Yeah, and not only that, now you get Dumba says he's healthy and feeling good. You know, the start of his year last year wasn't great. He said it ramped up as the year went along, and he felt really good in the bubble. He says he's coming into this training camp and, you know, again, going towards the start of this season. You add him into the mix there, and that top four on the Wild blue line is I think it could stack up against anyone in the National Hockey League.
Well, I agree with you, Kevin. And, of course, they've got a lot of firepower back in that position as well, and a lot of salary also on those four guys who are back there. But that's what you're looking for. And Dumba, 2 years ago, 12 goals. Last year, just 6 goals. He didn't have quite the year he wanted, and hopefully that will change this year.
Parisi swings it around the back, tries a no-look pass for Nick Bugstad. Ends up on the stick of Cam Talbot. He'll gather it up. And we'll get a face-off to his right with 2:24 left to go in the second.
Another guy that they're expecting better things from certainly is Matt Zuccarello. Came in last year and didn't have a very strong year. They're expecting a lot more with that contract that he picked up. For the 5 years at $6 million a year, and they're hoping that when he gets back on the ice, he'll be able to contribute a little bit more.
3 injuries right now. You talk about Matt Zuccarello, Alex Stalock, of course, also in the injury room, and then you throw Marco Rossi on top of that. Those are the 3 guys missing in action as we get things underway here towards the regular season. White team with it. 2:05 left to go in the second. White with the 2-1 lead. Jonas Brodin and his fat new contract put White on top, and that's where we sit here. Now 1:56 left to go in the second. Makoshin at the blue line. Sturm touches it to avoid icing. Suter gathers it in his own trapezoid and looks for an outlet. He'll keep it. He's got a winger. It's Marcus Foligno on the left side. He takes it in stride, but he's bothered by Belpedio. Swing pass for Jules Erikssonek. Goes out to the corner. That's going to be on the sideboard. That's Jordan Greenway takes the shot, hits the stick of Ryan Hartman, goes into the netting, and another faceoff coming our way.
Yeah, and another guy, and we talk about Foligno all the time, what he brings to this hockey club as far as the physical play goes, but also offensively. He does a great job there getting the puck to the right of the goaltender, coming back and behind it, and makes that quick pass out to Jules Erikssonek, who gets the shot away. And you watch when Foligno has the puck, how well he protects it. He uses that big body of his, and he's certainly a strength for Minnesota in the physical part of the game as well.
Top line back out there once again for the green team. Comes out to Addison for Kaprizov, takes a shot. It's a wrister from a long ways out. Talbot's able to see that coming down the highway, and he gets his body in front of it. We'll get a face-off once again. 1:21 left to go in the second. White holding on to the 2-1 lead.
Yeah, and that release by Kaprizov also, Kevin, very quick. It's on his stick and it's off his stick just as quick as it's there, and that's what you want to have if you're going to try and beat a goaltender.
White team wins the faceoff. Back for Brodin. Sends it across ice for Spurgeon. Spurgeon, outlet pass for Johansson. He whips it over to Fiala. He kicks it up to his stick, and now he's got freedom. Shoots. Big save by Kakkonen. Backhander by Fiala. Another shot. Saved by Kakkonen. Comes out to Spurgeon at the center ice. That one developed out of nowhere because Fiala had some nifty soccer moves to kick it up to his stick.
Yeah, he's got those quick feet. He's got those quick hands as well. He was going to get in a little bit tight to the goaltender, and that's why he wasn't able to put the puck exactly where he wanted. He wanted to go to the top shelf on that one, but just his speed kind of took it away from him on that one.
Bugstad's big body able to keep it on his stick, but taken away finally by Jared Spurgeon. Send it all the way down as they want a breather. It'll come at the cost of an icing, and that means company to the right of Talbot.
Well, Talbot, one of those guys also that you expect him to step up. Devin Dubing had a tough year last year. Alex Stalock had a real good year last year, I thought. But Devin Dubing, sometimes a change of scenery is good for you. Talbot's going to get the chance here, certainly with this hockey club, to be the #1 goaltender. Now in his 9th year in the National Hockey League also. Calgary last year. But he's been with a few different teams, Philadelphia and Edmonton and New York Rangers. He's had a pretty good career, but he's very quiet out there, but very concentrated when it comes to playing the game.
He talked about learning the game in his early years in the National Hockey League under Henrik Lundqvist, who you talked about is stepping away from the game due to open heart surgery. So I wish King Lundqvist nothing but the best. But that's he's had an interesting road. And we talk about that rivalry up north. Cam Talbot was a big part of that, playing with the Edmonton Oilers when toe-to-toe, or with Calgary at the time, went toe-to-toe with Mike Smith of the Edmonton Oilers. So some interesting stuff happening there. Hopefully some interesting stuff coming our way in the third period as well. White holding on to the 2-1 lead after 2 periods. Your scoring summary real quick. Nick Bukestad got us started for Team Green, 5:31 into the contest. They take that 1-0 lead, and that's your score after 1. But White responds with a pair in the second, a pair from the blue line. One goes to Jared Spurgeon on the power play at the 7:16 mark, and it's answered by Jonas Brodin. Gives White their first lead of the hockey game at the 16:39 mark. That's where we sit through 40 minutes of hockey. White with a 2-1 advantage. You've been entertained thus far, Thomas?
Yeah, I have been, Kevin. I mean, there's some good players. They're not playing very physical, obviously. They don't want to hurt each other out there. They've done a good job of positioning their bodies in positions where you want to have them and making sure that they keep the goals to a minimum out here right now, and that's what we expected. As I said before, you come to training camp and you don't have a lot of time really to put it together.
Last chance, we call it a dress rehearsal. They'll have the rest of training camp the rest of this week, and then they'll head on a flight to Los Angeles come Wednesday, take on the Kings Thursday night from the Staples Center. Welcome to XL Energy Center. From the Al Shaver Press Box, I'm Kevin Fallness, that's Tom Reed, and we are bringing you this Minnesota Wild scrimmage presented by our friends at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. There's so many ways to win at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Join the Island Passport Club for member-exclusive promotions like healthy hot seats, pull tab takeover, point multiplier, and more. You'll even get special offers for your birthday. Visit TICasino.com for more information. We're going to step aside, but our friends here in the digital part of the Wild broadcast team are going to bring you Posted Up with Ryan Carter. Sit back, relax. Next time you hear from us, it'll be the start of period number 3. Welcome to St. Paul.
XL Energy Center in downtown St. Paul. This is Posted Up with Ryan Carter. And now from inside Gate 4 at MGL Tap House, here he is, the bird with the word, Ryan Carter.
What's up, Wild fans? We must have done something right last time around because you're back for episode 2 of Posted Up. This one happens to be a jammed-packed episode, so thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. Maybe give us the thumbs up because we're having a lot of fun. We want to keep that rolling here on the Wild YouTube channel. Marcus Foligno's on deck. He's going to hang with us a little bit. You won't want to miss it. We got a little taste test, but FYI, make sure you have a little puke bucket handy. KFAN's Brandon Molesky also joins us for a final. Let's go off the top of the post. Before we say goodbye to 2020 for good, we've got to say hello to the Minnesota Wild pup calendar. My personal favorite, Foxy Fiala. 2020 has been a year. Some may call it a dumpster fire. Before we can get to the elephant in the room, let's just take a second to reflect on some of the other crappy things that happened in 2020 that didn't get enough attention. How about Kobe's chopper accident, the Australian wildfires, stock market crashes, riots, protests. Let's not forget the murder hornet. All that crap happened, and I haven't even mentioned the Rona yet. I can remember in March telling buddies there's no way the NHL will pause. There I was sitting in San Jose getting ready to call a game, and Santa Clara County officials said not to assemble in groups of more than 1,000. That was the first time I sat to think, wow, this thing's really coming. It's real. It's going to be bad. From then on, that day, 2020 was more about surviving than it was about living. And for those of us fortunate enough to survive 2020 and all that chaos, the New Year's resolution that I want to focus on is let's make 2021 about living. I don't want some of these resolutions this year that I'm not going to eat junk. I'm going to get more sleep. I'm going to be more organized. It's about living. I'm going to eat that junk, but I'm going to embrace that junk. I'm going to get less sleep because I'm going to be out living. Speaking of eating junk, we got Marcus Foligno here, who's about to get bean boozled. Stick with us. All right, welcome back to another special segment of Posted Up. With me today is Marcus Foligno. Marcus, how you doing, my man?
Good, yeah, thanks for having me on.
I do like the sweatshirt choice today. Can you pull that out for us? Give us a little look, fun guy.
Yeah, I got this after Kawhi Leonard when obviously being a huge bandwagon fan of the Raptors when they won it. So New Balance made a bunch of these sweaters, so I had to get one.
I'm gonna test the truth of that sweatshirt today. Not yet, right off the bat. We'll get to that. You've got a new member to the family. You've got a new daughter. That makes 2 daughters, right?
Yeah, 2 girls now. Yeah, one's 2.5 and now one's 2 months. So yeah, it's been busy.
I'm gonna have to set up some club. It's an acronym, dude, dad of only daughters, because I'm gonna need some counseling probably, or like a support group for when these girls get older. They're already starting to run my show. I don't know about yours.
Yeah. We got my daughter. We have a neighbor who there's a boy next door who's about 4, and she follows him around all the time. So my head's on a swivel whenever we go outside and play the park, and he comes around. So yeah, we can definitely start that group. I would be in that for sure.
You and I, we've fought before. I proved how manly you were with my face there, but people, I get it all the time. Like, it's how can you sit down and hang out with a guy that beat you up or that you fought like an hour before? I don't know your thoughts on it. Like, how does it feel like punching my face in?
It was a lucky punch. I closed my eyes and I swung for the fences. And if I knew who you were before fighting you, I probably wouldn't have fought you because I knew how good of a guy you are. So, but that's just how it goes sometimes. You get tagged and sometimes you tag the other guy.
Why don't you go ahead and put your fist up to the camera there real quick and show everybody how big your hands are. This is the view I got right there. That's what I was looking at. And
well, what happened before that though is I think we got in like a shoving match off the face-off draw or something, and I remember like the puck got dumped in, and you gave me like a cross check. I wasn't ready for it, but I think it came and hit my like even stick out of my face. But I think it's just because I was worried about getting hit with the puck as my defense shot it at us, and then you caught me off guard, and I was like, "What the hell?" And then I remember just kind of like slashing you, and then you just said, "Let's go, man." And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Because I think Cam Jansen was on the other side with John Scott. And I'm like, I'm not fighting that guy, that's for sure.
You have amazing strength because I saw that big fist, just like that view, come right over my shoulder, hit me right in my mouth. And I go down, and somehow it went all the way down and tore my MCL. No, because I hit my knee on the ice, and that was it. So then you were nice enough to say, hey, you okay? And I was, yes, I'm fine. The trainer came out, they got me. And then in between periods, at the time, your dad was coaching me. And your dad comes into the training room, he's like, oh, I should have told you, Marcus is really tough. I was like, I didn't know. He's like, had I known you were going to fight him, I would have given you a heads up. He's long and he's strong. And I was like, oh, thanks for the heads up now, coach. Do you have one of these in front of you?
Yeah, unfortunately I do.
I'll open mine too. I'm not all that excited about this.
Bean boozled.
I don't know if it can get much worse than what's in here. We've got, the flavors are...
God. Peach barf. Boiled milk, stink bug, canned dog food. Are you kidding me?
Booger.
Do we have a bucket in here?
Why don't you give that card a little spin and we'll see what flavor we got to dive into.
Strawberry banana smoothie or dead fish?
Okay.
Oh,
that
that's
looks
the
like
worst.
Orange with red dots.
So
Let's see, hold it up to the camera. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. That's disgusting. All right, let's see it.
Goes some dead fish. Oh my God.
I got dead
Oh
fish.
my God, man.
This is so disgusting.
I did not get the strawberry one, I'll tell you that. That smells like, yeah.
Oh. That's... All right, let's move on. Why don't you give it another spin?
No, let's not move on. I'm good. This has been a fun time, guys. Thanks for having me. All right, I'll spin one more time. Here we go. Coconut or spoiled milk?
Dude, I have to say, though, if I had to pick one of these, that's probably the one I'd pick. I think I'd rather have spoiled milk more than any of these other flavors.
I'm very, very scared of that stink bug. I don't know why, but my eyes just keep going to it.
Cheers.
There you go.
Oh, spoiled milk.
Oh my God. Oh.
Did you get it too? You got spoiled milk too. Oh my God.
That is awful. That was way worse than I thought. Oh my, it's worse. That was worse than the dead fish. I have a 2-month-old, and that is worse than breast milk, man. That is spoiled breast milk. That's what that is.
We need to try stink bug.
I hope I get toasted marshmallow on this one. This would be huge. I'm going right here.
All right, that's it. That's the one. I'm gonna mentally prepare.
1, 2, 3. Oh. Oh my God. Oh, it tastes like burnt toast, but not toast.
Tastes like a burnt turd is what it tasted like.
We've been giving our daughter jelly beans when she goes in the potty because she's potty trained right now. So I might slip her one of these when she gets off the potty and just see how it goes.
Maybe she has to take from that jar when she misses the potty if she doesn't make it.
Here's a stink bug. You forgot to go in the potty.
Hey, I gotta deal with this stink bug. So do you.
Yeah.
You've proven you are the fun guy, man. That was a blast. Thanks. Thanks for being a good sport. Getting bean boozled, kind of disgusting.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me, and thanks for giving me some bad breath to go home. This is great.
All right,
Awesome.
dude. Take it easy, man. All right, welcome back. Time for our final. With me is K-Fans Brandon Molesky. Mad producer, the Grum?
Not mad producer, no.
No, you're not mad producer. Tenna-B.
Usually I get confused for Justin Guard. Now you're confusing me with Nordos. It happens when you're in the background a little bit.
So where does the nickname Tenna-B come from?
There was an old Randy Moss soundbite. He was on a Tennessee Titans conference call with the Tennessee media. And he got on the call and he just said, "Yo, what up, Tennessee?" And then PA one day, because the first letter of my name is a B, just said, "Yo, what up, Tenna-B?" And it's caught on.
I think we've talked about this before. You got to get a jingle going. You know that old song Tennessee? Is that Arrested Development?
Arrested Development, yes.
Get it going. Tenna-B. We got to get a rap going to that.
A game of horseshoes.
Let's make a couple prop bets on the Wild. Winner gets either a tarp shooter or some swag. 5 golden light. What do you say?
I'm in.
Let's start with the elephant in the room. Who do you think the Wild are going to name their next captain?
But to me, Jared Spurgeon is, I think, Fiala's kind of getting in that mix, but, best player on the team. He's making the most money. He's a great teammate from what I believe. He's going to be here for quite some time.
There's a lot of good candidates, and I can't rule out that they wouldn't throw a curveball in there and try to figure out, maybe give opportunity to who they believe to be the next captain, if that's somebody like a Fiala or a Kaprizov or somebody like that, right? So with that, I'm going to stick with my sentimental view and say that I think they're not going to name a captain and they're going to roll 3 A's. I think they're going to let time play out and see who emerges as a leader. All right, you got Spurge. I got nobody. Who do you think the Wild's top line will be coming out of training camp?
Well, you get to go first.
I don't think they're going to stack up Kaprizov and Fiala. I think Fiala is going to be playing with a lefty, I think. So I'm going to go with Johansson, Fiala, and probably Parisi on the left.
So now do I have to say something different than that?
Yeah, you can pick the same. I think the center can be different.
I definitely will say Fiala. Fiala will be on the first line. I can promise you that. I'm guessing Parisi just because of his past history with the team is also going to be on the top line. If you're going to make me change it from what you got, though, I guess I'll just say Marco Rossi.
I like it. Okay, so next one, Wild's first goal of the year.
You're letting me go first here?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll just take the best goal scorer on the team, and he'll be out there first shift. I'll go with Kevin Fiala.
I love a good story, and how great would it be for Kirill Kaprizov to score the first goal, so I'm going with Kirill.
You're going with the Russian?
Their first game against the Kings, over-under shots, I'll say 32 shots.
32? That's a pretty good number. I think it might take a little bit for our offense to get going to where it needs to be, so I'm going to not be negative here, but and just for the sake of you keeping your career with the Wild, I'll take the under. You can take the over.
I was going to take the over because I think the D is going to be a little sloppy. I'll take the over. All right, man, that's it. So we've got our things, we've got our bits. I'm looking forward to maybe taking a tarp shooter off you here. Thanks for joining us, man. A lot of fun. And hey, guys, thank you for joining us. Happy 2021. I think we're all excited to say sayonara to 2020. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Check, check.
What happened? What is... What? Did you tear it?
Yeah. I got a couple new ones, but this one's comfortable. See that?
Well,
that's the way it should be. Just ripped right up the middle.
Did you just
but
do
no one
it?
can tell. No, it's been that way for a little bit.
Why,
Quarantine. I don't see anybody. Who cares?
Why, you see me.
Yeah, I know.
Should we call Bob?
I don't think he'll answer. Should we have him do the third period remotely? Minnesota Wild YouTube anxiously awaiting the start of the final frame. Greg Patterin, the only guy available at this point.
Hank said he's going to give us a dirty feed for the, because we'll have a Fox box
Yep.
up there, which is okay. At least we have times.
Yep. I think it'll all come together. And no matter what it looks like on a Thursday, I think it'll be better on Game 2, Game 3, Game 4.
And so on?
And so on and so on. Andrew Hammond.
Who's in that?
I think they'd have to go the distance, wouldn't they?
You would think so.
But why is Hammond going to the pipes?
Because he's probably going to play.
Yeah, it looks like Hammond and Talbot. One minute and we are live.
All right.
The Hamburglar. Hmm. 40 seconds. Russo just complained about the cold on Twitter.
About the
It's
cold?
so cold here without fans.
Oh.
I said, okay, Tom Reed.
I'm actually okay today.
Yeah, I am too. And I didn't think about it till he said it. Now my hands are a little chilly. Hammond versus Talbot.
Oh, starting on the power play.
Power play? Really? And we're back at XL Energy Center, period number 3 coming your way. It is an exclusive Minnesota Wild scrimmage presented by our friends at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. 5-on-5 hockey. It's 2-1 in favor of the white team. A real quick scoring summary. Bukestad for the white. Make that for the green. Then Spurgeon and Brodin for the white. Real quick goaltending change. Cam Talbot still between the pipes for the white squad, but there's been a change in the guard on the green end. Kakkonen out. In comes Andrew Hammond, and he has to make a save right off the bat as he shuts down the 5-hole delivered towards him by Marcus Johansson.
Yeah, he's got those big black pads also, Kevin, from this angle anyway that I'm seeing right now. His first year in the with the Wild uniform, and his, 7th year, or 9th? I'm trying to think, but 7th year, I believe, in the National Hockey League.
Had a heck of a run to start his career out there with the Ottawa Senators. Now here he is with Minnesota, his second stint with the organization, and he's going to get the third period here. And he's going to watch his teammate, Kirill Kaprizov, carry the puck in the white end. Taken away by Johansson. Johansson at center ice. Drop pass for Fiala. Fiala keeps it, leaves it for Belpedio. Takes the shot. Saved by Hammond. He'll keep it in that glove. Face-off coming to his left.
You know, Belpedio jumping off from that point position, and you could see also that Fiala does a nice job of just dropping the puck back perfectly on the stick. Belpedio stepping up there, getting the shot away, but Hammond able to make the save. And you're right, Kevin, when you look at a guy like Hammond, that first year, I mean, the way he finished up was absolutely tremendous with that hockey club when he was with Ottawa at that point. I think he went 21-2 in his last 23 games.
It was incredible, an incredible run.
Yeah, 21-2.
Weren't they throwing McDonald's cheeseburgers on the ice, calling them the hamburger and all that? And that's where it all got. The legend of Andrew Hammond got started. Like we said, second time with this Wild organization. Worked with Capo Kakinen not too awfully long ago, and now he's back as the third member of that trio.
Yeah, a couple years ago he's back. He was with the Wild farm team in Des Moines. Last year wound up with the Rochester Americans, the Buffalo's farm team.
Belpedio with it, took the nice pass from Victor Rask, but stripped away by Jules Eriksson off for Foligno. Tries to get it to Greenway, but that was behind him. And instead it's grabbed by Rask. Now taken away by the green team. Greenway sends it up the boards. Fanned on the shot there at the blue line. This will be Soucy who takes it, goes through a stick, and it's Talbot that's able to direct it out of harm's way. Hartman now, watched by Soucy, gives it to Foligno. Foligno behind the cage, leaves it for Patterin. Patterin looking for an outlet. Luke Johnson watching him very closely. Back out again now in the white end. Duhaime with it. Drop pass, shot taken from a weird angle. Saved by Talbot as he closes the near side of the cage. Out for Addison. Addison spins behind, thinks about the stuff move, but instead puts it up top for his defensive partner. Takes the shot, saved by Talbot. This time he'll dive on it, and we will get a face-off. Lots of bodies on the ice there in front of Cam Talbot in that white crease.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do. You want to get bodies in front there to disrupt the vision of the goaltender as best you can. You can see also Talbot just have to focus in on where he had to be out there. At the same time, you want players jumping in there, and that's exactly what Dewar was doing. Connor Dewar out of Gilbert Plains, Manitoba. Played Iowa last year.
Top line out there for Green. They've been relatively quiet here thus far through 40 minutes and change, but Kirill Kaprizov trying to do something about that. Quick little release, saved by Talbot. It's Bugstad with it. Centering pass, looking to get it to Addison at the top. He's able to seal the zone. Back down for Kaprizov. Uses his big body to fend off Brad Hunt. Now he's knocked to the ice. Thought maybe he drew a penalty, but nothing from the linesman. Kaprizov there again. Luke Johnson is trying to keep it away from Kaprizov. Kaprizov and Bugstad. It's Bugstad that comes away with it. Up top for Addison. Addison down low for Kaprizov. Back up top. Addison's there again, but Hartman's able to spring it out to center ice. I said Hartman, that's actually Mason Shaw, number 58, not number 38. Regardless, it's offsides, and we will get a full-blown lineup change for both squads.
Not a lot of excitement in the game here right now. You can tell just by the fans. They're not very loud in this building.
They're all sitting on their hands. Very quiet crowd for sure.
They're sitting on their hands at home.
Announced crowd of 0 in St. Paul, outside of everyone sitting up here in the Al Shaver press box and the Zamboni driver. There's not a lot of bodies inside XL Energy Center tonight, watching the white team skate to a 2-1 advantage with 16:24 left to go in regulation.
Yeah, and that's tough also, Kevin, because, I mean, certainly the fans can really jack up a team where you hear that noise, especially in the home building, and get something going. And sometimes the visiting teams also likes the noise.
Bonino with it now in stride. Tries to fend off Matt Dumba. Gets it back behind to Kevin Fiala. Fiala at the near half wall. Circles the zone. Cycles it deep for Bonino. He touches it. Hands it off to Johansson. Back for Bonino. Bonino up top tries to get it to his defensive core. Hits a stick and it goes all the way back down to Cam Talbot. Talbot watches Foligno and Brodin battle for it. The captain comes away with it, tries to send a pass out to Brodin. It looks like
Foligno got hurt on that
Foligno shaken up.
Yeah, he and Brodin came together, and you can see Foligno, he's bent over skating to the bench right now very slowly. You hope there's nothing serious with it.
He's headed off the ice, and now he's headed down the runway, so they'll get a chance to look at him. He did leave under his own power, but like you said, very slowly, as there was some congestion back there behind Talbot.
Yeah, it looked like more of an upper body injury also, certainly not the leg area.
That would be tough because Foligno very heavily counted on for this team in many different ways, especially the energy he brings to this club. Last year led the team with hits, 184, and also set a career high in points. And plus minus, he was a +8 last year for Minnesota.
And he was good on the penalty kill. That's one area that Minnesota needs to improve upon also, is that penalty kill, and he was a part of that.
Definitely one of the leaders in that locker room. There was some early conversation about who the odds-on favorite would be to get the captaincy once Mikko Koivu went away. In the end, it ends up going to Jared Spurgeon, but that talks about the voice that he has inside that locker room and definitely the respect from his teammates.
Yeah, there's two guys that I picked when they were talking about captain. Puck is held right now by Talbot, and that's we'll get the face off to his left. But the two guys I picked were both Spurgeon and Foligno. It could have gone either way. I think the fact that Spurgeon's got a long-term contract with Foligno, this will be his last year unless they're able to re-sign him. It's hard to find players like that.
Big year for a number of players on this Wild roster. Foligno's definitely one of them. Big year for Nick Bjugstad as well. Wins the faceoff for Addison. Bjugstad gets it in return up to center ice, but it's grabbed by Brad Hunt. Rao with it now. Sends it around the end board. Stopped by Andrew Hammond. Hammond in for the third period after Capo Kakinen played the first two frames. And here comes Kirill Kaprizov down the right wing. Keeps it. Takes a shot. Save by Talbot. In the near corner, Parisi and Luke Johnson. Back for Addison. Addison crashes down deep, sends it around the end boards to Parisi. Intercepted by Mayhew. Mayhew for Johnson. Cross ice pass for Rao. The young guys line out there for Team White. Mayhew, Johnson, and Rao. 3 stars from the Iowa Wild, trying to grab some eyeballs here with his chances. Mini training camp here for the Minnesota Wild, making their way towards the regular season. No preseason hockey. This is as close as you get to exhibition here for Minnesota, battling against themselves in a final tune-up before they get ready for the Los Angeles Kings in Game 1 of 56 come Thursday from the Staples Center.
Yeah, and that's going to be the same with all these teams also, Kevin. Very limited time to practice. The only teams that had more time at the training camp were the 7 teams that did not make the playoff situation last year.
Looks like it was whistled offside. We talk about how the games are going to be different on the road. Life as the traveling party is going to be a little different as well. You and Bob, of course, are doing the games from back here in Minnesota on the radio side. The TV is as well. So the traveling party is going to be real limited. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of interaction by these players. It's not like they're going to be able to go to restaurants or go to hang out.
No,
they're just going to be kind of regulated to their room in the rink.
Yeah, they'll be at the hotel and in their room and so on. And Kevin, the way it's set up now, I may not get a chance to meet any of these players face to face.
You're right.
Until the season ends next year, maybe not even then.
How are you with the Zoom apparatus? Are you able to Zoom with these guys?
I've been a part of that, and that's fine. But it's nice to be able to sit and talk and get the feeling from the facial expressions and everything else. Not that we don't always get that, but it just makes it so much easier. It's a challenge, I think, for them and for us.
Nifty little move there by Kevin Fiala. Tried toe drag and kick it back up to his stick once again. Like we said, he's got those soccer moves in the hockey parlance, and he showed it off there down the right wing. Failed to deliver a goal. Here's a shot taken by the captain, Jared Spurgeon. That's gobbled up by Hammond. He finally figures out it's beneath him, so he goes into the prone position. And the ref blows it dead just before the puck goes across the line. That's no goal. Still 2-1 in favor of the White with 12:21 left to go in the third. But that's what I enjoy about those morning skates. There's a lot of standing around, no doubt about it. But once you get in the locker room, you can have those conversations with the players, with the staff. You know, the casual conversation with the coaching staff is you're just hanging out there waiting. Yeah, that's stuff you can't replicate on Zoom.
And the other part of that, Kevin, is we get a chance to talk to the visiting media as well, coming in here, finding out what the real story is, because coaches and GMs are not always going to give you the truth of what was happening with the team, but the media certainly will give us that information, and so that we can use the broadcast. You have to be careful how you use that stuff too. When it comes to injuries and so on, you don't want to divulge much of that because you don't want your own team being subjected to someone doing something because they know we got a bad ankle, a bad hand, or bad arm, or whatever.
It'll definitely be different, but there's one thing that I know Bob Kurtz will like about it. No travel means he's in his bed by midnight, no matter where they're playing, who they're playing, what time it started. So I'm sure he'll be happy about that, right?
Well, well, you're right on that. There's no question about it. But at the same time, even coming into this building, Kevin, I'm allowed to go to your broadcast, the studio downstairs, and up here in the press box. I can't go any other place in the building.
Yeah. Kaprizov trying to get some daylight. Does have it, looks for the pass, hit some skates, was trying to set it up for Jules Eriksson-Ek. Ek will go crash down into that far corner. Leave it for Zach Parisi, but Makoshin amongst those that are making life difficult in the white end. Out for Nico Sturm, steps over the red line, dumps it down if he can get a line change. And now this will be Mermis with it for Green. Home run pass. Broken up by Jules Eriksson-Ek. Takes it over the blue line, drops for Jordan Greenway, defers to the right dot. Shot taken by Foligno. Nice to see him back out there after leaving under some duress just moments ago.
Yeah, just a little bit of a stinger, I think, on the upper body, so he's okay. That's a good thing.
Mermis out there showing off some fancy skate work as he tries to dodge Mason Shaw. Shaw onto him, though, and gets it onto his stick. Tries a centering pass. That's busted up by Addison. Around the boards, back up top for Bartkowski on the left dot, on the left post. Hunt with it now, down deep, wraps around the net, thinks about the backhand, but sends it up to Bartkowski, who unloads a bomb, but that hits the stick of Jordan Greenway. Greenway for Foligno, that energy line for Team Green. Fails to keep it inside the zone, so that's Matt Dumba that grabs it at the red line and looks for the pass. Finds Jordan Greenway at the blue line. Greenway back to Hammond, who thankfully is paying attention. Grabs it with his paddle and leaves it for
that helps.
Duhaime. Up for Suter. Suter tries to cross ice pass for the guys, but that's picked up by Kevin Fiala. Fiala fails to get it through to the center ice, and that goes to Jared Spurgeon. Back for Hammond. Hammond leaves it for Dumba. Dumba with a head of speed. Takes it himself. Gives it to Cramarosa. Cramarosa to Chafee. Now for Cramarosa. All the way around, back up top for Dumba. Dumba looking for an outlet. Sends it back to Cramarosa. In the near corner, Bonino. Bothered by Dewar. Finally squirts free for Dewar, but it's greeted by a white jersey. Bonino with it in his own end. We're down to 9:07 left to go in regulation. White still skating with a 2-1 lead. Thanks to goals from the blue line. Jared Spurgeon and Jonas Brodin. Early in the hockey game, Nick Bjugstad opened it up with his first as a member of the Minnesota Wild. It won't count, but still for these purposes, his first is with Minnesota. 5:31 into the contest. That's the only goal thus far for Team Green. Belpedio for Sturm. Cross ice for Makoshin. Takes the shot, saved by Hammond. Rask taken away by Parisi. Parisi drop pass for Bjugstad. Bjugstad on the board looking for his second. At the dot, takes the shot from between the circles. Goes back in that trapezoid. Bjugstad using that body, trying to feed a pass over to Parisi. Goes up top to Soucy. He'll dump it back around to Nick Bjugstad. Bjugstad, backhand pass out to Patterson. Takes the shot, save by Talbot. 8:12 left to go in the third. White still with a 2-1 advantage.
Yeah, Soucy with a good year last year also, Kevin. He's got that big body as well. And, of course, suffered an injury last year that took him out of the mix of things for a while. 55 games on the year, but he's 6'5", 210 pounds. And he uses the size. He doesn't use it a great deal, but he's got it when he needs it. He can protect the puck well. He moves the puck well. He sees the ice. And he's very good at getting the puck through from that blue line to the front of the net.
Face-off won by the Green. There's a little twirl, does Greenway. Sets it up for Addison. Takes the shot from a long ways out, just inside the blue line. Talbot able to track that down and will cover it. Another face-off coming to his left.
Yeah, Addison does a good job of backing up coming off the right wall over there. right-handed shot, able to back up a little bit, and Greenway makes a nice play of making the pass to him nice and flat where he can get the shot away.
Eck with another face-off win. Back for Greenway. Uses his body to protect the puck and send it across the ice to Mermis. Mermis back around. Cleared by the white team, and that's where Jules Eriksson Eck will skate to gain possession of the puck. Eck for Mermis. Mermis looking for a pass, finds Jules Eriksson Eck. Eck on the right wing, takes the shot, top of the circle, bobbled a little bit by Talbot, but gets it in that protective chest and drops it down to his skates, covers it, and another face-off coming your way.
As much as you enjoy watching a game like this, I mean, for the players, there's not a lot of emotion in the game, and it changes dramatically once you start going against the opposition in your own division, and that's what will happen come Thursday night when the LA Kings will be the host.
Things will ramp up significantly. Can't wait to game number 2, the rematch with the Kings. You get these back-to-back games, and in some cases 4 in a row. Things are going to take on a whole different feel in a big hurry, and that's why you got to get off to a quick start. You get off to a slow start, and you can be left in a cloud of dust in a big hurry.
And the nice thing about the back-to-back, Kevin, if somebody does something to you one night, you have a chance to get them back the next game, because less than 48 hours, you have a chance to go back at it, and that's where you really develop your rivals. We see that in playoff competition all the time.
Yep.
You start playing a bunch of games against a team, boy, it can be nasty out there in a hurry.
One of the things I'm definitely excited about is Kirill Kaprizov is able to create a little turnover there, sets it up for Nick Bjugstad. That's kicked aside by Cam Talbot. Now Suter with it for Bjugstad once again. Parisi moving those legs, churning. Tries to send a pass out to Kaprizov. That's broken up by Fiala. Fiala retreats into his own end, so his guys can get things together. Brodin over for Spurgeon. The defensive partner, the top defensive pair on the white team, and the 2 goal scorers for the white squad as well. Centering pass by Spurgeon. That just fails to find a home. Shot taken by Johansson on the far side, and that just sails over the crossbar. Duhaime over for Kaprizov. Spurgeon's there. It looks like that will be an icing. 6:35 left to go in the third. White leads 2-1. Real quick note I got from our friends at the Hockey Lodge. The XL Energy Center location will be closed on Tuesday. Their hours, though, outside of Tuesday when they're closed for some maintenance work. Monday through Friday, they're open 11 to 5. Saturdays, noon to 5, and that's a great place to go if you want to get those new Wild Retro jerseys, which I bet you have a little bit of a fondness to because it's a throwback to the old North Stars.
Yeah, it certainly is, Kevin. They've done a terrific job with it. I know they've sold a lot of those jerseys as well. You know, we talk about defensemen, and last year it was always on number 20 with number 46. We're not seeing that anymore. Now it's changed around. Yeah, we're 20's out. 20 as one of those guys, and that being, of course, Ryan Suter, who's played so well. What about Matt
he's got
Dumba
to corral
now?
Dumba.
Yep.
Dumba's like a wild stallion sometimes, and he's going to get a chance to get free a couple times because he knows he has Suter protecting his back. One of the best defensemen in the league. Hunt with it now. Back for Barkowski. Barkowski takes a shot. That wings wide of the cage. Smashes off the end boards and comes up top for Nico Sturm. Sturm taken away by Duhaime for Dewar. Out to neutralize again. Now it's Greenway with it, and I think we're going to have too many men on the ice.
Too many men on the ice.
Duhaime hesitated to get off the ice, and that's going to cost his team. Already trailing in the game 2-1. Now they're going on the PK.
Well, he was going off the ice. Unfortunately, the guy coming on the ice played the puck right away before Duhaime was actually on the bench. So it'll be too many men called against the green squad, and the white guys will go on the power play. And, of course, the white lead in this game already by a score of 2-1. Both of the goals scored by defensemen with Spurgeon and Brodin scoring, and Bjugstad on the other end for the green team.
That first goal for Spurgeon, it was on the power play, the only power play goal thus far. Fiala trying to add to it. He misses his mark. They're going to try to set up that power play once again. Spurgeon goal coming at the 7:16 mark of the second. One-timer drive saved by Hammond. Nice feed from Brodin over to the captain, and the captain winds and fires, stopped by Hammond.
I said before, Spurgeon is one of those guys who really has a tremendous shot there as a small-statured guy, but boy, he gets it away in a hurry.
Bonino out for Fiala, back up top for Brodin. Kick to the skate of Spurgeon. The captain up for Brodin, over for Fiala. He fans on the one-timer. That's gathered in by Susi, who'll send it the length of the ice as they try to kill off this power play. 90 seconds left to go in the man advantage. White trying to pad their lead. Both their goals back in the second period by Brodin and Spurgeon. The first goal of the hockey game went to the green squad. Nick Bugstad, the only marker thus far for Team Green. Nice stick work there for Jared Spurgeon. Gets it back onto his blade. Sets it up for Brodin, over for Johansson in the near corner. Johansson with it for Bonino. Bonino back up top for Johansson, bothered by Jules Eriksson-Ek. One of the best penalty killers here for Minnesota, but for Johansson. Tries to set the one-timer up for Jared Spurgeon, who was down deep. That one failed to click, and the puck is sent the length of the ice midway through this power play.
Yeah, that's a chance for Johansson to take a shot to the net there. He's looking to make the pass rather than getting a shot to the net, and you know, anytime you get a chance, you got to shoot towards the net.
Brad Hunt taking it all the way, leaves it for Hartman. One-timer set up for Sturm, but that goes into his skates, and now here comes the PK for the green team. It's Dumba over for Bugstad. Dumba, Bugstad, and Parisi on the ice here with 27 seconds left to go on the power play. They're in the PK mode, but trying to deliver some offense, trailing in the hockey game 2-1. 4:11 left to go in regulation. 17 seconds left to go in the penalty to Chafee. Hartman with it. Tries to leave it for Rask. Back to Hartman. Hartman tries to send it to his defenseman at the left point, but nobody's home, and that'll drag the rest of the time off the clock.
Yeah, I think he was trying to make that play. I think he saw Casper, the ghost, over there.
Well, Casper doesn't have great stick handling because he wasn't able to gather it in, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey with 3:43 left to go in regulation. Behind Andrew Hammond, and here comes Kirill Kaprizov. Dumps it in. A little dump and chase here for Team Green. Grabbed by White, that's Mikoshin. With the far half wall, Kaprizov gathers it in. Top of the circles, Kaprizov leaves it for Patterin, and he's hit by Rao. Gets his arms up a little high. Patterin was ready for it and shakes it off, but the puck goes out of play. And with 3:18 left to go in the third period, White's still clinging to that 2-1 advantage.
No, we talk about players having quickness and so on, but certainly when you watch a guy like Kaprizov, Kevin, he's got that. He can dance in a hurry, and he's got that quick acceleration, and that's what you're looking for. And that's one of the reasons why he's such a top point getter in the pro circuit.
He's out there now on the right wing with Bugstad in the center. Bugstad tries to kick that puck to his stick and can't do it. Instead, it's Murmas who has to come from his spot on the left point. Green still trying to control play. Andrew Hammond still between the pipes there for Team Green. They haven't pulled him for the extra attacker yet. Still 3 minutes left to go in this hockey game. But the Green running out of time here quickly if they don't get something mounted, and they're not going to get any offense playing in their own end. Bugstad stapled to the boards by Luke Johnson. Back up top for Murmas. Gets it for Kaprizov. Kaprizov tries to get a pass to Parisi just in front of him, so Kaprizov has to go get his own puck. Takes out Jonas Brodin in the process. Finally able to get the puck, but he's knocked off his skates by Luke Johnson. Back up top for Addison. Addison tries to send it to Suter, but here comes Team White. If they hurry, they've got a breakaway. Some legs here for Mayhew. Nice little toe drag for Mayhew, but good defensive play by Zach Parisi to help themselves out in retreat.
Yeah, Mayhew's got that quickness also. He got the puck through, but he couldn't control it once he went by Parisi.
I bet his eyes lit up when he saw all that open ice, but Parisi was able to shut it down, and it didn't even result in a shot on Hammond. Suter over for Greenway. Green trying to get it out of their own end, but the White doing a great job of holding play. Brodin with a drive save by Hammond. Foligno tipped away. Nice little shot by Fiala. Tries to hit it out of midair. Just failed to materialize. Centering pass there for Fiala. Save by Hammond. Maybe a game-saving save by the Hamburglar, who stones Kevin Fiala.
Yeah, this game about confidence, and when you are able to make a save like that, that has to boost that element of your game. Hammond does a nice job. Now Hammond's going to the bench. We're going to pull goaltender right now.
And here we go. 6 on 5 with 80 seconds left to go in this hockey game. White holding on to the 2-1 lead. But now Green trying to get some offense going with the man advantage. DeWar with it for Team Green. To the far corner, that's Bukestad to Kaprizov. Back up top for Patterson. Drive! Saved by Talbot. Near half wall, that's Susi. White team trying to kick it free. They finally do. Back out to center ice. No, that's where Patterson will gather it in. Good drive by Patterson from a long ways out, but Talbot able to keep this a one-goal hockey game. 45 seconds left to go from St. Paul. It's an exclusive Minnesota Wild scrimmage presented by our friends at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Welcome to the final minute of this scrimmage. Kevin Fallness along with Tom Reed from the Al Shaver press box. And we're watching Kirill Kaprizov get that puck over to Zach Parise. Centering pass for DeWard. Now it's Kaprizov with it. Back to Parise up top. That's going to be Patterson over to Suter. Takes the shot. Saved by Talbot. Rebound for Bukestad. Kick free up top for Suter. He can't keep it in. We're down to 14 seconds left to go in this hockey game. Stopped by Sturm, shoots at the empty net, hits the pipe, and we're still alive with 5 seconds to go, but they gotta hurry. DeWar with it, with the game on his stick, misses the net, and that'll bring a close to scrimmage number 2, presented by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. White is gonna skate to a 2-1 victory, and they are the victors tonight.
Yeah, I thought for a minute, Kevin, we might have overtime in this very first game of the year, and I'm sure Bob Chris was hoping we would have overtime, but that was not the case. But all in all, okay, it was an okay scrimmage. We didn't have a lot of physical play, obviously, but that will come this week. It'll come early enough out in Los Angeles.
Starting on Thursday, game number 1 of 56. Real quick little scoring recap. Nick Bukestad started the scoring for the green team, 5:31 into the contest, answered with a pair in the second, both by defenseman Jared Spurgeon on the power play, pulls the game even at the 7:16 mark, answered by Jonas Brodin at the 16:39 mark. 2-1 is your score at that point. That's your score after 2. That's the score as the final minutes and seconds wind off the clock. White skates to the 2-1 victory. Again, thanks to everyone involved, including our friends at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. They are our exclusive sponsor of this here activities tonight. And we've got to tell you, got to play all day and then stay the night at Treasure Island Resort and Casino with enhanced cleaning and sanitizing measures in place. You can rest easy during your stay in one of the luxurious hotel rooms. Book your reservation now at ticasino.com or by calling 888-867-STAY. Tom, thanks for joining me, and look forward to talking to you on Thursday.
Kevin, I'll be here.
That is Tom Reed, one of the voices of Minnesota Wild Hockey. Bob Kurtz will join him come Thursday on your flagship for Minnesota Wild Hockey, FM 100.3 The Fan. Thanks to Jim Rogers. Thanks to all of our friends here in the Al Shaver Press Box for bringing you this exclusive presentation of Minnesota Wild Hockey presented by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Until Thursday, I'm Kevin Fallness. Have a good night.